Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after Test captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. He very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere in the game with Ireland and Australia in Rugby Union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the line for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he's now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krajkovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed her for Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football, and with England, and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. It was then Captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsy of Congo made some stunning saves. Yoram Vissa hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last gasp victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way. They'll have a last 16 meeting with the United States now. Rudy Garcia's men look to be heading out after trailing, but 2 goals late on sealed the deal to send it to extra time. Yuri Tielemans then scoring a 125th minute penalty. Elsewhere, and with the news with the United States, Florin Barragan scored and was later sent off as the United States advanced past Bosnia and Herzegovina and Santa Clara to reach the last 16 of the World Cup. Disappointment though, because Barragan is now set to miss the next game. A red card looked extremely soft on replays, but he scored the opener. Tillman got the second, as the United States will now face Belgium. In domestic football, Vitória Pereira is poised to leave Nottingham Forest, with the club ready to appoint former Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner as his successor. Reports suggest that the deal to appoint the Austrian is virtually done, just the formalities left to complete. And Tottenham have set to break their transfer record for a second time this week after agreeing to sign Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali. Previously had an £80 million bid but rejected by Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after Test captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. He very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere, in the game with Ireland and Australia in Rugby Union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the line for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he's now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krajkovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And with England, and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. Losing captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsi of Congo made some stunning saves. Yoram Vissa hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last gasp victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way. They'll have a last 16 meeting with the United States now. Rudy Garcia's men look to be heading out after trailing, but 2 goals late on sealed the deal to get sent to extra time. Yuri Tielemans then scoring a 125th minute penalty. Elsewhere, and with the news with the United States, Florian Barragan scored and was later sent off as the United States advanced past Bosnia and Herzegovina and Santa Clara to reach the last 16 of the World Cup. Disappointment though, because Barragan is now set to miss the next game, even though a red card looked extremely soft on replays. But he scored the opener. Tillman got the second, as the United States will now face Belgium. In domestic football, Vitória Pereira is poised to leave Nottingham Forest, with the club ready to appoint former Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner as his successor. Reports suggest that the deal to appoint the Austrian is virtually done, just the formalities left to complete. And Tottenham have set to break their transfer record for a second time this week after agreeing to sign Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali. Previously had an £80 million bid but rejected by Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after the test, captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, and Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. Very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere, in the game with Ireland and Australia in rugby union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the lineup for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he's now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krkovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And with England, and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. Losing captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsi of Congo made some stunning saves. Yoram Vissa hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last gasp victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way. They'll have a last 16 meeting with the United States now. Rudy Garcia's men look to be heading out after trailing, but 2 goals late on sealed the deal to get sent to extra time. Yuri Tielemans then scoring a 125th minute penalty. Elsewhere, and with the news with the United States, Florian Barragan scored and was later sent off as the United States advanced past Bosnia and Herzegovina in Santa Clara to reach the last 16 of the World Cup. Disappointment though, because Barragan is now set to miss the next game. Even though a red card looked extremely soft on replays, but he scored the opener. Tillman got the second, as the United States will now face Belgium. In domestic football, Vitória Pereira is poised to leave Nottingham Forest, with the club ready to appoint former Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner as his successor. Reports suggest that the deal to appoint the Austrian is virtually done, just the formalities left to complete. And Tottenham have set to break their transfer record for a second time this week after agreeing to sign Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali. Previously had an £80 million bid but rejected by Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after Test, captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. He very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere, in the game with Ireland and Australia in rugby union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the lineup for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he is now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krikovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed her for Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Hill. We'll start with news in football. And with England, and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. Then Captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsy of Congo made some stunning saves. Young Visser hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last cast victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way. They'll have a last 16 meeting with the United States now. Rudy Garcia's men looked to be heading out after trailing, but 2 goals late on sealed the deal to send it to extra time. Yuri Tielemans then scoring a 125th minute penalty. Elsewhere, and with the news with the United States, Florian Barragan scored and was later sent off as the United States advanced past Bosnia and Herzegovina in Santa Clara to reach the last 16 of the World Cup. Disappointment though, because Barragan is now set to miss the next game. Even though a red card looked extremely soft on replays, but he scored the opener. Tillman got the second, as the United States will now face Belgium. In domestic football, Vitória Pereira is poised to leave Nottingham Forest, with the club ready to appoint former Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner as his successor. Reports suggest that the deal to appoint the Austrian is virtually done, just the formalities left to complete. And Tottenham have set to break their transfer record for a second time this week after agreeing to sign Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali. Previously had an £80 million bid but rejected by Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after Test, captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, And Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. He very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere, in the game with Ireland and Australia in Rugby Union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the line for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he's now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krakovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed her for Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And with England and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. But then Captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsy of Congo made some stunning saves. Young Vissa hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last gasp victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way. They'll have a last 16 meeting with the United States now. Rudy Garcia's men look to be heading out after trailing, but 2 goals late on sealed the deal to send it to extra time. Yuri Tielemans then scoring a 125th minute penalty. Elsewhere, and with the news with the United States, Florin Balogun scored and was later sent off as the United States advanced past Bosnia and Herzegovina in Santa Clara to reach the last 16 of the World Cup. Disappointment though, because Balogun is now set to miss the next game. A red card looked extremely soft on replays, but he scored the opener. Tillman got the second, as the United States will now face Belgium. In domestic football, Vitória Pereira is poised to leave Nottingham Forest with the club ready to appoint former Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner as his successor. Reports suggest that the deal to appoint the Austrian is virtually done, just the formalities left to complete. And Tottenham have set to break their transfer record for a second time this week after agreeing to sign Newcastle United's Sandro Tonali. Previously had an £80 million bid but rejected by Newcastle, and now set to pay 92.5 with 7.5 extra in add-ons. In cricket, England's attempt to move on from a dreadful start to the summer was hit by weather as their first T20 against India was abandoned. 2 days after Test, captain Ben Stokes retired with the game against New Zealand. England got halfway through the opener to a 5-match series against India before rain set in. Recovered did India from 6-2 to post 189 for 7 in the first innings, but then heavy rainfall saw the match called off. Elsewhere in Formula 1, and Lando Norris has insisted that he has the pain of this year for the glory of last. It's been a bit of a frustration for him this year. He very much McLaren's expectation that it would start 26, unable to set the repeat joy they had in 24-25. That's been realised, but Norris insists there's still a lot of effort to prove that they can compete this year. Elsewhere, in the game with Ireland and Australia in Rugby Union, Sam Prendergast's strong end to the season with Leinster has earned him a recall to the line for Saturday's Nations Championship. He lost a fly half spot to Jack Crowder in the Six Nations, but with him ruled out through injury, he's now back in the fold. While finally into news in tennis, former French Open Mira Andreeva, the champion, broke down in tears as she was knocked out by Barbara Krakovic. She lost 4-6, 7-5, 6-4 before the game with Novak Djokovic. He outclassed her for Tsitsipas in a statement performance, winning 6-3, 6-4, 6-2 in just 98 minutes. That's all in for the latest headlines. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And with England and Harry Kane's brace was able to spare a huge humiliation as they came from behind to beat DR Congo in Atlanta to reach the last 16. Thomas Tuchel's side were 15 minutes away from an embarrassing exit as DR Congo defended the early lead given to them by Brian Kipenga. Losing captain Kane came to the rescue by heading home after 75 minutes, but then thrashing home a winner with 4 minutes left. Goalkeeper Lionel Mapsy of Congo made some stunning saves. Yoram Vissa hit the post. In truth, a dreadful performance from England across the night, but they earned their spot against co-host Mexico at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on Monday at 1 a.m. Elsewhere, in news with the Belgian game, Yuri Tielemans scored a penalty late in extra time as Belgium produced a sensational comeback from 2 goals down to defeat Senegal. The last gasp victory helped them boost their chances of going all the way.
Unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Dallas as the round of 16 continues on. What a ton we've had so far. Expecting a classic here this evening. Portugal against Spain. Spain looking fantastic so far in this World Cup, it has to be said. No goals conceded so far, and impressive displays, especially against Austria in the last round. You could say maybe Portugal a little underwhelming. I thought their game against Croatia, when they won 2-1 after going behind, that was an absolute classic as well. Fantastic game that was. Of course, that late goal from Gonçalo Ramos is forward. They come down the right side. Pedro Neto trying to find a ball forward into the path of Bruno Fernandes early on, but Spain defend it well, and it is out for a goal kick. Of course, the winner of this will face the winner of the game later on this evening, going into the morning for us. Of course, USA and Belgium in the quarter final. We'll have to see who books their place into that, and then of course going further on, possibly France and Morocco away for one of these two sides. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit there. Looking at the two sides quickly, in the preamble, only one change between the two sides. That's for Portugal. Leao, the man who assisted Gonçalo Ramos, he drops out onto the bench, whereas João Felix comes into the 11. Spain unchanged from that 3-0 win against Austria. For Portugal, Costa is in goal. I have to say he was one of the heroes as well in that game against Croatia. Massive 6 saves for Porto's number 1. Back four of Cancelo, Diaz, Vega and Mendes, with João Neves and Vitinha, the two holders in the middle. Neto, Fernandes and Felix supporting skipper Ronaldo, who leads the line for Martinez's side. So De La Fuente and Spain's Unai Simon is in goal. Back four of Porro, Cabase, Laporte and Cucurella, with Pedri and skipper Rodri in the middle. Yamal, Olmo and Baena, the supporting cast for Oyarzabal. A great record, of course, for Spain over the last just under 2 years, give or take. Going into the last game, I want to say it was 21 goal involvements in 14 or something incredible like that. Of course, he did score against Austria as well, so just adding to that tally. Baena switches it to the left hand side looking for Yamal, hard to control for the young Barcelona winger, and I just trickle out for a throw. And it's myself, Lewis Raftery, joined by Kieran Shelley, take you through all the action this evening. And as I say, I think we've had some crackers at this World Cup so far. It's been a great tournament on paper so far. Would you say maybe this is the best on paper, two big sides facing each other so far in the tournament?
Yeah, probably. You'd have to say so. Two sides that are well within the top 20 FIFA rankings, if not the top 10. And there might be a break now for Spain. They've won the ball in the middle of the park, shot straight at Unai Simon. I believe it was Oyarzabal who took that one after they nicked the ball in Portugal's half. I think Portugal wanted a free kick from Anthony Taylor, but it wasn't given. A simple take for the goalkeeper in the end, and they're coming again.
Spain ball into the box, Yamal pulls it back, no one's there. João Neves intercepts well, just has to clear his lines. Already a shaky start for Portugal in defensive areas. Vitinha was there as well. I think he might have got the clearance in the end, but Spain starting really well and pressurising this Portugal back line. They play it out, but Rodri, that's a good tackle to win the ball there. Off over Bruno Fernandes. Two Manchester players are meeting there in the middle. Cabase into Yamal. Spain favoured coming into this game, but as you would expect to, as Kieran rightfully said, two teams in the top 10, it's two teams in the top 5, 5th versus 2nd in the official FIFA rankings. That just shows you how top these sides are.
Yeah, it does indeed. I mean, Portugal since the start of the tournament have actually dropped to 7th and Spain to 3rd, but prior to the tournament, like you say, Lewis, both teams inside the top 5. I'm sure those rankings will change again overnight, of course, but in the opening 4 minutes of this one, it is the higher ranked team that have looked the better. Two early chances.
And that Yamal ball on the right side, if someone was just in there on the penalty spot, you're definitely looking at a shot on target, a goal scoring opportunity. Diaz looks to ping the ball from right to left. Mendes will get there, lovely first touch on his left, but his trailing right boot puts it out for a throw. And so fast and furious start here. It's a lovely ball from Diaz, brings it down with his left and actually bobbles off his right knee, and out of play. Thumbs up from Nuno Mendes, the PSG fullback, to the Manchester City man, and Pedro Porro, the fullback of choice for Luis De La Fuente. On the right hand side into Rodri, back to Cabase. High press here from Portugal. It's one of them, isn't it, for Spain? Do you sit back and let them just pick you off to your high press? And they're a team you don't want to press high because they can just play past you. Of course, the defending European champions, and of course a stat that is quite unbelievable. They hadn't won a knockout game since they won the World Cup in 2010 until they beat Austria. You just think of the dominance that they've had over 20 years, give or take, let's say, since Euro 2008. That's kind of unbelievable, especially considering how well they have been. Nuno Mendes with a long throw-in coming up. It's a good long throw, headed down, but then he's headed away in the end. Oyarzabal looks to bring it away, nods it down to Baena on the left-hand side. He's been hounded down by Neto and Neves, but he comes away with the ball. Rodri switches it to Olmo, and he gets his head up, and there's just no real options until Pedro Porro makes a run on the outside on the right. Yamal more centrally. Good start to this game, as you would expect. Of course, it is in Dallas, so it does make a bit of a difference, and I know there will still be the controversial hydration break regardless. But you'd have to say, especially compared to yesterday, the one in Norway and Brazil was so hot and humid in New Jersey at MetLife. This is a closed air-conditioned stadium. You'd expect maybe the intensity and the tempo can be a bit higher from both these sides compared to that game yesterday.
Yeah, the irony, of course, both these teams are used to playing in heat in the home countries. Perhaps not such humidity, but none of that today. It'll be a nice cooler stadium, probably in the low 20s, with a bit of air circulation going around the ground. Nicer for the fans at least. But no signs of low intensity so far. Spain has already, as we've mentioned, winning the ball back high up the pitch as they like to do. They want to be tight, making it difficult for Portugal to play out of their own half, as we're seeing now. But Nuno Mendes will a crossfield pass actually, and Portugal are on the way.
It's a lovely ball in the end to Cancelo. He's got Neto to his right-hand side. He's going to go alone and go for goal. Decent, stinging effort. They want a corner. I think it was Unai Simon had his hand in the air to save it, but I do think it just goes over the bar regardless. Watching it back, said lovely, hits it straight. Unai Simon puts his hand up, so I can imagine why they're asking for the corner, but it will be a goal kick. And I mean, fair play to Cancelo. They always thought, you know what, there's no options for me. Let me hit a strike sweetly. Just unfortunately got too much air on that one.
Yeah, indeed, and Simon just pulled his hand away instantly, and Cancelo had options. I mean, there wasn't many in the box. I think it was João Neves maybe at the far post, or João Felix even at the far post he could have picked out. Ronaldo was an option short as well. I'm sure he had something to say about the fact that he didn't get the ball. But it's really Portugal's first burst forward, isn't it? But they've got the ball at the moment, settling the ball. Bruno Fernandes on it, and there's always a danger something will happen when he has the ball at feet. But I think the idea for Portugal is to keep Spain off the ball and frustrate them a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Both teams are possession-based, aren't they? So maybe that's the thing, take the sting away from the game. Fernandes into Felix, and that's a good tackle by Rodri. Here comes Spain, ball into Oyarzabal. He's on a one-on-one. Looks like he might be offside though. Puts it wide regardless. Does the flag go up in the end? I'm assuming that the Spain forward will be hoping the flag has gone up. We haven't seen a picture of the flag going up. It looks very close. He's onside. He is well onside. Regardless of, I believe the linesman's flag has stayed down. I mean, he's onside. Yeah. And his blushes won't be spared, even if the flag's gone up. First of all, he should be getting that on target at least. And that was a lovely time pass, and needs to be doing better. He's
been in incredible form this tournament. He's been in incredible form for the last sort of 3 or 4 years, to be honest. Oyarzabal scored the winner against England, of course, in the Euros 2 years ago. He for me, he has to score it. It's not even just getting it on target. Unai Simon's a competent goalkeeper, but he shouldn't give him a chance. Ronaldo now looking like he wants to take a shot.
Well, he was going to take a shot, then ball into the box. It's swung out wide to Felix. Of course, he will be a lot narrow. I mean, when you've got Nuno Mendes overlapping, it means he can be a bit more narrow. Can the former Atletico and Chelsea loanee, ball into the box looking for João Neves. Does a Spanish player keep in play? No, he doesn't. So it will be a corner. First corner of the game, and it will be for Portugal. And both these sides, they're not, of course, the height is their main advantage, but you do have some players, Ruben Diaz, Renato Vega, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. For Spain, you do have the likes of Laporte, Kebasi and Rodri. They kind of match each other out, but as per usual, got to be a good delivery.
Yeah, has to be a good one, of course. Bruno Fernandes, you'd expect it to be. Key targets in there, of course. Ruben Diaz, Ronaldo, just to name a couple. Renato Vega's not short of height himself, the ex-Chelsea man. And so Taylor isn't happy with it. A little tussle between Rodri and Ronaldo. No love lost between those two.
Will be an in-swinger from Bruno Fernandes. Into the front post it goes. It's nodded away. The shot comes in from far out there. Not quite sure of that block though. João Cancelo will be forced to go back to his goalkeeper, Diogo Costa. Slight press on from Lamine Yamal. It goes straight forward, looking for Fernandes on the left-hand side. Once again, it's a poor pass picked up by Rodri, as you would expect. Just picks it up, plays it back to his full-back in Porro. Then Unai Simon will look to clear away. It's not a great clearance, and it just falls kindly for Renato Vega. Villarreal man, of course, a more defensive midfielder, but for the Spanish side in La Liga, he's been really impressive at centre back, and it's earned him a place in the World Cup, not just squad, starting 11. Here they come with Vitinha, good tackle, but it will fall kindly for Cancelo. Fizzes it into the feet of Vitinha, but that's his great first touch control. He still comes away with it. Pedro Neto. Back to Vitinha, and he goes across to Renato Vega. 10.5 minutes in Dallas. Goalless in this round of 16 clash. Portugal 0, Spain 0. Oyarzabal having definitely the best chance of the game, one-on-one, putting it well wide of the mark. Apart from that, it's just being very much tense. Both teams trying to get the ball. Felix, does he take a bit of a stab there at Porro? Yeah, he does. Just brings him down, clips him at the heels, and the full-back will the free kicks. Watching, as Kieran rightfully pointed out, the pulling and shoving between Rodri and Ronaldo, which the referee had already paused before the corner. Watching the replay back, it's one of them where both of them are pushing and shoving each other. Rodri has a bit of a pull of the jersey of Ronaldo, then kind of dramatically goes down, does the Portugal skipper. That's Paul though from Spain. Ronaldo has an opportunity now. It's a very acute angle. Will he go for goal? He will strike. He's saved by Unai Simon. Would you expect? But similar to when Spain won the ball high up the field, that's what Portugal did. Unfortunately for Ronaldo, just an awkward angle really to put that in the back of the net.
Yeah, and in fairness, there wasn't many passing options. I mean, he's always looking to shoot, of course, when he gets on the ball. I'm sure he'll be upset that he's not part of that. I think it's 4 players now that are on 7 goals this World Cup. So we want to get as many goals as possible, stinging the palms of Unai Simon on that occasion. Like I say, not a terrific number of options really from Portugal supporting him there.
It'll be a corner though, and again you can see the red and the green of Portugal. Spain playing in their off-white cream away kit, but still a lot of red and yellow for them. Ball into the front post. A great delivery from Mendes. It's headed well away. Fernandes will be tracking back. He's going to try and let it go out for a throw-in, but that won't happen. Keeps the ball in play, and Portugal still have the attack, and attack is alive. Mendes, is he had his heels clipped? Referee says no. They can't come away with though, Spain, and then there's a miscommunication in the middle between 2 PSG men in Vitinha and Mendes, and Spain do get the ball back. Cucurella, the new Real Madrid man. Of course, he played that beautiful pass for Oyarzabal for the third for Spain against Austria. Pedri, quiet game so far, but of course he's always a great player to watch. Yamal up against Mendes. Mendes does well to just hold him off. Yamal wanted a foul. I think he was backing into the PSG fullback a little bit too much there, and Spain do gain possession. As you rightfully said, Kieran, I think if you're Portugal, you want to keep Spain off the ball. This is not what you want to do. If you are Portugal, of course, you've got pace on a counter, and you've got players who can ping passes in behind. Spain do play a high line, but you don't want to just say to them, look, have the ball. You want to kind of take it to them a little bit. Ball in behind, looking for Pedri, well intercepted there at the back by Fernandes. João Cancelo into Felix. Ronaldo in an offside position, so he can't play the ball to his skipper. Ronaldo's looking quite furious, but he was offside the entire time. The 2 teammates who play in Saudi Arabia couldn't connect that time. Olmo to Baena on the left-hand side. Looks to poke it back into the box. It'll fall for him outside the area. Well over the bar, that one. That would have been a PAT if the Cowboys were playing in the stadium right now. That's poor. I don't blame him for going for a shot, but it's a poor shot. But still, at the moment, we're very early on. Round of 16, it's knockouts. You don't want to make a mistake. But at the moment, it still feels like a bit of a feeling out process between the two sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Portugal are just trying to maintain Spain when they're on the ball inside their own half. Just try and manage the passes, almost lead them to make the pass they want them to make, rather than having the freedom of choosing their pass. I mean, they're doing an alright job at the moment. Obviously, they've had a few shots. Spain, they should be 1-0 up for me. Oyarzabal should have scored. Absolutely a man in his form. I think he's on 3 or 4 goals this World Cup, isn't he? So far, and Portugal have only really had 1 or 2 opportunities going forward, but it looks like they're set up almost to get Spain on the counter. Spain, of course, the stronger team going into this tournament. Not really been the Spain that we saw in the last Euros as of yet. Yet to hit their peak, I don't think. And this is both teams' real first test.
It is. Covered the Portugal versus Colombia game. Although that was a 0-0. Sounds very cliche, but it was one of the best 0-0s you'll see around in this tournament. It was. I mean, and how it was 0-0, there were a lot of chances, weren't there? Both goalkeepers did well. Maybe the strikers could have done a little bit better with the strikers that they had. 15 minutes in here, and again, it feels like we're still in the couple of rounds where boxers are throwing jabs and trying to feel each other out. Spain have the ball just inside, well, now just inside their own half with Rodri. Rolls it slowly into the feet of Kabasi. Of course, as I said, the winner of this will face the winner of USA and Belgium. That's a poor pass picked up by Fernandes. Looks to hold it up for a moment to get some support in cast. Portugal win the ball. No one's coming forward at all. So that's maybe just showing that the mentality at the moment that Portugal actually don't want to hit on the counter. They want to sit back, get the ball, and then have a bit of possession. Nuno Mendes drives past one of his forward players, ball over the top from Fernandes, looking for Mendes, just bounces awkwardly for the fullback, and now we've got to be careful here with Mendes out of position. I think Spain want to try and maybe go quickly down that right hand side. Rodri plays it into the path of Yamal on the outside of the penalty box, cuts inside, goes for goal, saved by Costa, falls for Baena, who goes for another curling effort, and Costa with a double save. Well, he was one of the heroes against Croatia, and that double save there was exactly the same, and that's the problem you have if you're Portugal. Nuno Mendes goes forward, great attack, but then straight coming up, Rodri, beautiful pass into Yamal, that's a good save. The Baena one might be even a better save.
Yeah, this is a wonderful save from Costa. Just think that second save is frankly outrageous. That's the kind of save you only see from top World Cup goalkeepers, and he's going to. I mean, even if Portugal perhaps go out in this match, he's going to have to be one of the best goalkeepers of the tournament. I mean, 2 of Portugal's matches already for me have been probably top 5 in the tournament. That Colombia game and the Croatia game, of course. and that's mainly thanks to him in goal. The end-to-end nature of Portugal's of matches as well. They want to attack in numbers, at least gaps at the back, and this Spain team are going to punish them. I think we're on for a cracking remainder of the match.
Baena with the outswinger, no one's on the end of it. It's a good header away, only as far as Jamal dinks it to the back six, looking for Cucurella. Ball across the penalty area. No one's there. Will be kept alive by Dani Olmo. Back to Jamal. He might find a ball into the box. He does. Ruben Diaz is the one to jump the highest. Baena back out to Jamal, who is in an offside position. He puts his hand above him, and Baena look at each other going, yeah, I was offside. My header, maybe I could have taken a touch, and Portugal will with the throw in. And they will just take a second, just slow it down here, because again, that was the first time Mendes went forward, if anything, took a risk. And all Spain just did was Jamal stayed up there. Rodri went in for the first time, went right quickly, give it back into me, I'll come back in midfield. Plays a beautiful ball in there. So one of them, the Jamal save, watching it back, that's what you expect, don't you, the Jamal one. It's, as you rightfully point out, it's a Baena one, fingertip save by Costa.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. We've seen some fine goalkeeping performances in the knockout stages already. Think of Eli Room, of Cape Verde against Argentina, of course. I think Paraguay's goalkeeper against France a couple of nights ago. Jordan Pickford last night for England, and we might be seeing another fine goalkeeping performance as well. And there was some talk from some of the professional or ex-professional goalkeepers that are now pundits, thinking of Joe Hart in particular, about this ball being a little tricky for goalkeepers, but I think as the tournament's gone on, they've gotten used to it, and we're seeing more and more fantastic saves, and that's what you want. You want to see great goals, but you want to see great saves, great tackles. That's the point of the World Cup. Every aspect of the game is the very best. Just an overhit pass there from Baena, but Cucurella still put pressure on Ruben Diaz. That's then going to be a foul from Baena on Neto, so Portugal have a free kick from deep.
It's clever from the Chelsea man, knows what he's doing, he's taken away, knows Baena's going to fly in, as long as they get the touch and dink it over him. Good tackle coming from Ruben Diaz there. It was one of them where it looked like it was just going to be overstretched. Cucurella wasn't going to get there, then if it weren't for Diaz, I think the new Real Madrid fullback would have got the ball. Again, you spoke about Costa in the games against Colombia and against Croatia, for example. Well, against Colombia, he made 6 saves, did Diogo Costa, in terms of XG saved. 0.61, so not maybe the chances in terms of big chances he saved, but against Croatia, he made one less save with 5 saves, but he 1.51 of XG fakes, and he prevented 0.5, and all that stats, and everyone that loves stats. But you look at that and you go, right, that he's not just saving shots from 20 yards out the straight time, he's saving big shots, and it's that by anyone, as you said, that it's fingertips, it's right position, and it's also, after you've just saved another big one, you just have to save one, get back up, respond to it. Excellent keeping there from Diogo Costa. Still, well, he's only 26 years old for a goalkeeper. He's still very, very young, and still at Porto after another successful season. And if there's the next big team in for a goalkeeper, I mean, I'm surprised in the last 4 or 5 years that a team that's been in for a goalkeeper hasn't gone for him. He's been linked with Real Madrid, Barcelona,
Liverpool need one.
Liverpool, yes. Manchester United, Chelsea. He's been linked with absolutely all of them, and I'm sure this tournament's doing him absolutely no harms. He plays in Portugal, so he can't be that good. Well, he's shining out on the world's biggest stage. Portugal do have the ball. Vega into Fernandes, into Diaz. 20 minutes on the clock, and what a game we've had so far in Dallas. It's goalless between the two sides, but you'd have to say maybe Spain with the best chances so far. Ball rolled into Fernandes, maybe offside, gets back to Cancelo. Shot goes over, but the linesman's flag does drop. I think Fernandes just offside. A bit of both. With Cancelo's pass could have come a little bit quicker. Fernandes' run could have been held a little bit more there, but whenever the likes of, as you've already spoke about, if for Portugal, it's one of them, isn't it, that Spain have the same players as well. I just feel the Portugal players have more of that decisiveness in them. Fernandes will pick a pass. Fernandes is happy to lose the ball with a pass, isn't he? Whereas you look at Rodri, can he ping a pass? Yeah, he'd rather go back and keep possession. Fernandes will go, you know what, if I lose possession, that's all right, but if I can find and unlock a defence, I'd rather do that.
Yeah, he's a risk taker, Fernandes, which is always a problem for defences, because you never know where the next pass is going to go. He's not one to just stick with the 5 or 10 yarder. He wants to play a ball that's going to lead to a chance straight away. That was evidenced by his 21 assists in the Premier League. Of course, for me, I don't think there's too much in difference in quality between the 11s in this one. I just think Spain have got more chemistry. They're more of a well-oiled machine. Recent success, of course, at the Euros for Portugal. there's a lot of players that I think are past their best. João Felix, Ronaldo, of course, despite still being fantastic. Ruben Diaz, all still brilliant players, but I just think a few of them are on the downward rather than this relatively young Spain side where they've got players coming into the squad that perhaps haven't played at a tournament before. I think of Alex Baena and Dani Olmo, who I know played in the Euros, but I believe it's his first World Cup, certainly starting so many matches. Baena just fouled there. I mean, I mentioned that both teams would be used to playing in the heat. Alex Baena's wearing long sleeves. If I was a referee, I'd have given him a yellow card for that.
Yeah, whenever you see it, unless it's a fashion statement. But
even goalkeepers aren't in this World Cup.
No. Yeah, we've seen a couple of them cutting sleeves off most of the time, aren't they? Trying to keep cool. It will be a free kick opportunity though for Baena to whip in on the left-hand side. It's a good opportunity for that in-swinging type delivery, you'd have to say. Diogo Costa might have to be called upon again by Portugal. Referee for this game is Anthony Taylor, the English official. So, and as you say, looking at Baena, he's buckets of sweat off his face, but as Kieran rightfully said, got that long sleeves on, so I can't really can't feel for him as much. Ball will be swung into the front post, headed away by Fernandes, falls outside the area for Porro, then takes a deflection off, I believe, Cucurella. So I think the strike was going off of target anyway, and then blocked off of Cucurella. Goal kick for Portugal, but before that can be taken, I believe the hydration break will be called upon by Anthony Taylor. So, of course, we've got about, I believe it is exactly 3 minutes that the hydration break is. But
correct.
In the opening half of the first half, the opening quarter, if you want to call it that, who do you think would be happier between the two sides? Spain have had that, as you said, big chance for Oyarzabal, should have scored, double save from Costa. But at the same time, Portugal don't look uncomfortable and completely out of this. They're still very much in it.
Yeah, well, I think in terms of the first half, Spain will definitely be the happier of the two sides. I'm not buying into this quarter stuff. Anyway, it's a bit of a classic that you say in football. The team that's happier with how they've played will be unhappy that they're not a goal ahead. I do think they should have scored a goal. They'll feel they should have scored two. I think Yamal's effort, there was the last real chance for Spain where Baena then had the effort shortly after. I think Yamal will be disappointed he didn't do better with his first shot. He made it a little easy for Costa. It had good pace on it, which meant the keeper couldn't catch it. Maybe he'll be harsh on himself and think he should have done. And then, of course, Baena, well, I think that's just unlucky from a Spanish point of view. Fantastic save from Costa, but that they should have scored a goal. Portugal, maybe just the decision-making in attacking areas. They've not had as many chances as Spain. Only two that I can recall. Cancelo and Ronaldo. Ronaldo had a shot on target. I don't think he was ever really going to beat Unai Simon from that shot. Just looking again at a save from Diogo Costa. Diving to his left. His right arm, the upper arm, just stretching out. It's a little bit more than fingertips. Gets most of his fingers to the ball, if not the top of his palm as well. Plenty of redirection on the ball to send it wide. Clearly still a lot of heat in that stadium. You see the players. I think Nuno Mendes has changed his shirt. Not sure why, but I've got a feeling that had something to do with the fact that his shirt was wet and he couldn't dry the ball when he was taking his throw in. Not sure if that's allowed, but clearly no issues from the referee. So yeah, to summarise, I think Portugal have got work to do. If the rest of the match is played like that, Spain are probably going to score a couple of goals, and I can't imagine Portugal will. Like I say, that decision making in the final third, I think both key chances they had, a pass was the better option, to be honest. For Ronaldo's, the pass just wasn't there. There should have been players available for him. And for the Cancelo chance, I think he probably should have rolled that to Ronaldo or maybe gone for the overlapping run. And they don't have to walk it in, Portugal, but Spain are going to be absolutely loving the fact that they're taking pot shots and getting goal kicks back. Spain, they're obviously a possession side. There's no one in world football, I don't even think France, that could have Spain playing a low block or defend for at least half the match, if you like. And although that's the way Portugal are playing, I think that suits them with the pace they've got in wide areas in Neto and João Felix, and of course Bruno Fernandes getting forward as well. They've got players off the bench that can really support that style of play as well. But it's when they get those bodies forward, are they playing the right pass? Are they making the right decision?
No, I think you're spot on with that. We're just about to get back underway, so both teams are hydrated. Had fewer tacticals as we're just over halfway through of the first half, as Kieran rightfully said. Just back to it, 26 minutes on the clock. It is a goal kick for Portugal. A really good start though here in Dallas. Spain, you'd say, are on top, but Portugal have still been very comfortable in the game. Maybe they're thanking Diogo Costa that they are still level in the game. Portugal 0, Spain 0. Unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Dallas. And take us through to half-time. I'll pass you over to Kieran.
Yeah, cheers, Lewis. Ball's attempted ball forward for Portugal, only finds Unai Simon in goal. He gets the ball forward. Now over to the right hand side with Spurs' Pedro Porro. His ball forward to Yamal is poor and goes out of play, although it actually did take a nick off of a Portuguese player. So a throw in for Porro to take. I believe he's picked up a couple of goals this World Cup, at least one in the last match, if I'm not mistaken. Pedro Porro in the round of 32. Unai Simon back on the ball once more, this time outside of his box. Yeah, scoring against Austria in their 3-0 win. Porro, we got the second goal of the game, arguably the most important, I think, at that point, with over half an hour, or about half an hour to go. Austria were going to struggle to get back into it, of course. Azabal, I should say, picked up his second of the match to put the game to bed just before 90 minutes. Menj with a throw in on this left hand side. Shirt clearly dry enough this time. Goes down the line. It's a really poor throw. He's looking for João Felix on that left hand side. They've won it back though. Nice feet from João Neves to get the ball to Bruno Fernandes on the cusp of the attacking third. Vitinha now spreads it over to Cancelo. Cancelo looking to come infield. Ronaldo, who's dropped deep, now space out on the right hand side for Neto. He's always wanting to beat his man. Baena's back supporting Cucurella. Portugal are forced backwards to Ruben Diaz, and this is where it's going to be tricky for Portugal, breaking that defence of Spain when they do get bodies back. Bruno Fernandes in the left wing position, back to Nuno Mendes, who's sitting back as João Cancelo push forward. You just wonder if Portugal can push both fullbacks forward. As I've said, that Nuno Mendes has now gone forward, with Vitinha dropping into the back line. So both fullbacks for Portugal are forward. Cancelo, we know from his time at Manchester City, Juventus and AC Milan before that as well, loves to get up and down the line. Nuno Mendes can play anywhere on the pitch, frankly. There might be a break now for Spain. Brilliant sliding challenge from Nato Vega to intercept that pass. It just didn't quite have enough weight to get through him and Nuno Mendes and find the feet of Lamine Yamal. Portugal, they're trying to move the ball fairly quickly to beat the press of Spain. They're still well within their own half. Vega's going to go for a long ball over to the right hand side, looking for João Felix, who really smart take actually. It's Pedro Neto even on that right hand side. Cucurella's then fouled him. No, the referee said handball against Pedro Neto. Can't say I saw it that way. I'm not sure if we're going to get a replay. He took a really nice chested control. I can only assume it then bounced onto his hand. Oh, don't know. I think that's harsh. Really harsh, and I thought Cucurella fouled him, to be honest. But Anthony Taylor clearly seeing it as a handball. Now there's going to be a darting run through the middle from Kabasi. Dani Olmo moving the ball quickly, our Spain. The speeding Pedro Porro is going to take an overlapping run. He's headed Nuno Mendes. Brilliant footing, though, from the PSG left-back, the two-time Champions League winner, to block that cross. And by the looks of it, he might have done enough to win a goal kick. Oh, no, it's going to be a corner, surely. After seeing the replay, yeah, it is just Pedro Porro jogging back. He'll stay back by the looks of it for this corner. Portugal have had most of the ball since the hydration break, but not really come to anything.
No, as you said, they're trying to move it around quickly out of what Spain are pressing very quickly. They've got this corner and they've taken it short. Olmo, they're trying to work something, but Portugal are reading it well, and they've gone all the way back to Porro.
Now ball over to Cucurella. Cucurella plays it back to Pedri. Pedri thinks about a shot, instead goes for a cross. It's not a bad ball. Kabasi was there. Then Olmo heads it wide. Another good save from Costa. He didn't know much about it. He wasn't sure if Kabasi was going to get a touch on the ball. It looks like a linesman's flag has gone up. Yeah, against Dani Olmo. So Pedri's looked to line up a shot. He plays a cross in. I think he was looking for Dani Olmo in the first instance, but it's close to Kabasi. Diogo Costa has to make a sort of last-minute save. He wasn't sure where the last touch was going to come from, and Dani Olmo heads wide, who was offside anyway. But that was quite an impressive ball from Pedri, not one you see too often.
Oh, it was almost. I was with you. I thought he was going to go for a shot. It was almost that faking of the shot that everyone then rushed out, left the players in behind, didn't they? So I thought it was a really good idea from Pedri. And if anything, just unfortunately, a little bit too much on it, realistically, wasn't it? Because Kabasi was onside. So if it does fall for Kabasi, I think the Barca man is putting that ball in the back of the net. But about Portugal, you are right. They have been better since hydration break. I still think I love Pedro Neto. I think he's a great winger. Like you said, wants to take. He's very direct. I just look at this Portugal side and I look at the full-backs and I think, could you play almost this 4-4-2 diamond, pack them in field, which you're better at, put someone up with Ronaldo, allow your wing-backs to be your width. I just think that would play to the strength of this team a lot. I've said it for a while, and the more I see the team, the more I go, I think that's the way you should go. I
think if either of the full-backs should be getting forward, it's Nuno Mendes, and he's sitting a little bit back, and Cancelo's playing as the overlap, a bit of a shanked clearance. And from Emerick Laporte, that's certainly not a technical term. That's probably the best way to describe it. Completely sliced it. He went backwards to his own keeper. Rodri. Now Pedri. Trying to get into the Portugal half. They have done so now through Kabasi. He plays a splitting ball forward looking for Olmo, but a good foot in there from João Felix doing some defensive work. So this will be the 13th time these two teams have played in a competitive setting. 12 previous have seen Spain victorious 6 times, Portugal twice, once on penalties. One of Spain's victories on penalties as well, leaving 4 draws between the two sides. Go back to March 1934 when they played in World Cup qualification. Certainly one that Portugal won't have remembered 88 years on. Spain 9, Portugal 0. In that one, of course, they played as recently, technically a competitive match in the 2025 UEFA Nations League final, where Portugal were victorious 5-3 on penalties after the game finished 2-2 after extra time. And if you don't count that as a competitive tournament, and of course the 2018 World Cup, one of the best matches of that tournament, with the Ronaldo free kick in the 88th minute to equalise 3-3. Lamine Yamal now up against Nuno Mendes, plays the ball into the box for Dani Olmo, he plays it back across, and Oyarzabal will wish he was a yard quicker, sniffed it out. That's what great strikers do. You know, the likes of Oyarzabal, he's a winger by trade, and he doesn't have that instinct of perhaps Ronaldo, Haaland, Kane, who would have been there. I think he's just a yard off. He wants the ball deeper, where he can perhaps take a touch. It's a great ball. They're still coming. Baena now up against Cancelo. Cucurella back to Laporte. Back to Baena, who's got a bit of space. Always wants it back on that right foot. That's not a bad ball into the box. Only Oyarzabal in there. He can head a ball, but certainly vertically disadvantaged against Vega and Ruben Dias. Rodri now creates a bit of space. Porro, Yamal pointing where he wants players to make the run. Pedri wants more. Back to Yamal. Yamal trying to get into the box. Nuno Mendes smart though. Good tackle from Yamal as he's gone down. No, Anthony Taylor said it's a foul. Not sure I agree. We came in from behind slightly on, I think it was João Felix. I thought it was a pretty good tackle to win the ball back for Portugal. Yeah, probably taking the man first. I think that's the problem, according to Anthony Taylor.
Yeah, you're spot on there about Oyarzabal. He's a winger who was basically a great goal scorer, so you put him up front, didn't you, because he can score goals, but you're right in these, he's not that instinct. If that's the other end, that's Bruno Fernandes putting that ball in the box. Ronaldo's there. Ronaldo is tapping that in, and that is the difference, but then Oyarzabal brings that build-up play, doesn't it, which Spain prefers, so it's a trade-off, isn't it? As you see, he wants to drop deep and then make a run in behind. It's a little bit different. His finishing ability is top, but as you say, it's that positioning that does let him down, or if that's Martin Odegaard putting that in the middle, Haaland's there, you're spot on with that. So that's the difference. But Spain now is when they're trying to turn the key a little bit. They're looking very good, and Portugal aren't hanging on, but Spain, they're looking like they're going to go into half-time. If they don't take a goal into half-time, I think they'll be disappointed.
Plenty Spanish strikers of old that would have scored that. I think David Villa, even Morata, Alvaro Morata, who
he'd have been in the right place. Morata.
He would. You know, not everyone's favourite striker in the Premier League or for Spain, but in the penalty box he was always in the right place at the right time. I believe he featured, if I'm not mistaken, in the Euro 2024 final. I might be wrong in that. Definitely played in the tournament. But no, Oyarzabal, he reminds me of Ronaldo when he sort of moved to Juventus, when he became that striker and he wants the ball. He wants space in between him and the goalkeeper, doesn't he? He wants the ball in behind. He wants to beat the defenders for pace. Whereas Ronaldo now a bit more of a penalty box striker. In the 41 years old, and he doesn't quite have the legs to make those darting runs. There's a bit of space now on the left-hand side. Great challenge though. It was a Yarzabal actually who dropped deep, ironically, but a foot in, I think, for Pedro Neto doing his defensive duties. That's a really smart ball into midfield to Vitinha. Ronaldo's dropped deep to get on the ball. Frustration showing for the Al Nassr forward, the captain for Portugal. Now to João Felix, nice feet to get away from Pedri. Then he's fouled by Pedro Porro. The game will continue. Porro's gone down for some reason, straight back to his feet though to do some defensive duties. Portugal is still coming forward. Bruno Fernandes, only one man in the box. He's now been supported. Ronaldo, a couple more players in the box. Ball still out wide. Cross is going to come in. Not an awful ball towards the back post. João Felix, and it's saved by the keeper. Ronaldo with an overhead kick and another good stop from Unai Simon to get there. I thought João Felix had put that in the back of the net beyond the goalkeeper. Clearly a good save from Unai Simon. I'll take a look at this again. Yeah, Felix, I thought he'd gone in off the goalkeeper. Saved by Simon. And Ronaldo with it, well, not quite an overhead kick, quite acrobatic. It was a fantastic save from Unai Simon. The ball was almost in slow motion. He dives and catches it. No pace on the ball really from Ronaldo. Would have been a cracking finish. Probably Portugal's best chance of the match.
It was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? What a ball in from Fernandes. You feel for Felix as well. This isn't saying that he should do. But you watch it back, Simon was expecting the ball back across. Yeah. So there's a part of me that goes, maybe if João Felix had just nodded that on target, that is a goal. There's a pause in play here where the referee's holding the ball. I don't know if there's an offside. I don't know if they're looking at something. Well,
two or three players in that passage of play that went down injured.
Yes.
Here's the first one, which was Pedro Neto from the foul from Porro, I think it was, early on, and then Felix went down after the chance, just holding, I think, his ribs from when he landed. He seems to be okay. And then also Pedro Porro, who seemingly went down after committing a foul. I can only assume this is for João Felix has hurt his shoulder. He's getting some ice on it now. Yeah, looks like a friction burn of sorts. The kind you get on Astro pictures. Take a look at the cracking ball in. Felix was trying to put it back across. Ronaldo, I mean, he does brilliantly with it. Pedro Neto, he's still got a boot off. I can only assume that is from the Pedro Porro challenge that the referee played advantage for. The reason I'm sceptical is I'm very sure it was actually Felix who was fouled. So maybe there was 2 or 3 collisions in the lead up to that chance. The result after all that will be a drop ball and essentially possession for Unai Simon. I mean, what a opening 38 minutes we've got. Pedro Neto is complaining that his boot is broken, which we've just seen it clearly is. So I think he was asking the referee if he could change it. Clearly he's been told no, but I think that's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. He should be allowed to change it, especially if he was fouled. Both teams 3 shots on target. What a treat this has been.
I mean, as well as you said, watching João Felix, what we just saw in replay there, after his header, he kind of collides with the advertising board, something right on his shoulders, as you say. He's probably got that friction burn, as you say. But now it's starting to heat up a little bit, the tackles, isn't it? They're coming in. That was Pedro Porro. What was that on João Felix? Yes, it was. So it's just in from behind. As you just pointed out, I am really surprised that isn't a yellow card. We haven't got a card yet as far as I can remember. And I think that is, as close to a final warning as you especially because it was Porro who fouled. I think, as you said, Felix just before again. Maybe Felix has got a receipt coming for him. I'm not too sure. Here come Portugal out to Neto. Sorry,
it's Cancelo on the ball. Alex Baena close to him. Baena can only concede a corner though. João Cancelo doing enough to win a corner for his side. Another chance for the big men from the back. Renato Vega, who was at Chelsea, of course, never really featured for the Blues. Obviously impressed his manager enough. Plays his football currently at Villarreal. 32 matches since the start of the 2025 campaign. Like I say, clearly had a good enough season. Did go on loan for the second half of the 24-25 season to Juventus, featuring 13 times. He's obviously improved since he was at Chelsea. I personally didn't rate him too highly. He only played 7 times in half a season, to be fair, but I thought his decision making wasn't quite there, but he's clearly grown into a competent centre half. I didn't really think at Chelsea he had a position. He seemed to play anywhere across the back four. Sometimes at the base of midfield, but he's obviously alongside Ruben Dias, who's going to learn a lot of. Short corner taken. In fact, Felix with a chance to cross, but instead goes to Nuno Mendes in a bit of space. He's going to take a shot on deflected. Oh, it comes off the top of the net, out for a. I think it's going to surely another corner. It took a deflection. I can only assume it's off of a man in white. It looks like it will be a corner on the other side. Is it? Did it come off the bar?
Is it going to be a throw-in? For a throw-in?
Yeah.
But as you said, it looked like it.
So much pace on it.
I mean, he's hit it, as you say, so well. Off the head
great
of
header
Porro.
from Porro. Great header.
If it had gone in the back of the net, it would have been a great finish from Porro, wouldn't it? But it means it's another long throw-in. Portugal, after that chance with Felix and Ronaldo, now this is how momentum's swinging, isn't it? It's right back with Portugal.
Yeah, indeed. And Spain will be ruining missed chances in the first half of the first half. The referee, what's he giving here? He's asking for the throw to be taken again because Cucurella's messing around on the byline. It's not like him. I see Taylor letting Nuno Mendes take it again. I wondered if he was telling Nuno Mendes off for taking too long, which we have seen on a couple of occasions. Nuno Mendes then goes for the long throw, but opts to go short to Vitinha. Gets the ball back now. He's going to cross. Poor ball that comes off of Olmo. Really good work from Felix to win the ball back, and then João Neves trying to keep it. Yamal, great feet to get away. There might be a chance now to counter. He spreads the ball over to the left-hand side. That ball just behind Baena, and he's asking for a foul. Is the Barcelona winger not going to come for him though? Now an opportunity for Spain to get forward still. Yamal driving forward. That's a great tackle again. In from behind from João Felix. I think João Felix has put in 3 or 4 fantastic tackles. Can't say that's something we saw in his game when he was a youngster at is it Benfica he came from before?
Benfica,
Barcelona, Atletico, Chelsea, back to Atletico, back to Barcelona. He you know, bit of a yo-yo. But I think he's had 2 stints at Chelsea, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe just 1. He's definitely had 2 stints at Barcelona, Atletico, I'm sure. Seems to have moved around a lot. And one of those youngsters, I think it was around the 2018 World Cup, I believe, when he came through as a youngster. Let's take a look. You've got it up there, haven't you, Lewis? Yeah, 2018 when he starred. And he was 18 or 19 and looked like the next big thing. Never really hit his potential. Atletico Madrid, Chelsea on loan, back to Atletico Madrid. Barca on loan, back to Atletico Madrid. Chelsea. So yeah, 3 stints at Chelsea, 3 separate stints at Atletico. Yeah. If you're including loans away, only 1 stint at Barcelona. And like I said, just never really hit that potential. Well, clearly his defending's come on a long way. Cancelo now on the right hand side. Maybe a chance. Another chance before the 45 is up for Portugal. 90 seconds until the opening 45 has been played. We'll get at least 3 minutes of added time, I believe. We'll probably have 5, thanks to a couple other stoppages. Renato Vega across to Bruno Fernandes, who's dropped deep. Vega once more, trying to skip away from Oyarzabal. Does so. Nuno Mendes trying to get away from Yamal. That's a brilliant tackle from the Spanish youngster. And Porro does enough to bring the ball away. Vega away from Yamal. Vega plays a sensible pass to Nuno Mendes. He then crosses the ball deep. Unai Simon's going to be first to that though. And another bit of sustained possession for Portugal leads to nothing. Yeah,
it's not. I like the idea from Nuno Mendes, but the ball needs to be better, and it's a better quality for him. But Felix, you're right, that's the one thing realistically we've all said. If you're looking at Felix, what's his problem? Off the ball, he's like playing with 10 men, isn't he? And unless you are Lionel Messi, you can't do that. If you're Lionel Messi, you can say, right, we will accommodate
Harry Kane.
Yeah, Harry Kane, Erling Haaland, because he's up there. You will score goals for us. João Felix isn't in that. He had the potential to be, as you rightfully said. But now he's adding to that game quite clearly. He's really helping Mendes. Instead of Mendes maybe 2-on-1 with Porro and Yamal, Felix is coming back, and that's really helped out Yamal, and that's kept him quiet, the Barcelona winger.
I think if you'd have said at the end of last season, when Rafael Leao had his best season, I'm just going to break off. Actually, there might be a chance in the box now for Spain. Oyarzabal just can't get the ball out of his feet. He's still alive. Rodri thinks about the shot from distance. That's gone flying over the bar. Not one of his finest. 6 minutes of added time we have just entered. But yeah, going back to the point about João Felix, I think if you'd have said at the end of perhaps last season, not the one that's just finished, that in a year's time Felix will be keeping Rafael Leao out of the Portugal side, you'd have said you were crazy. But unfortunately Leao's had a season not quite at his best, and Felix has clearly done enough to impress at Al Nassr to start. And based off what I've seen today, rightfully so. I think he's been brilliant going forward. He's done brilliant at tracking back, and Leao, of course, always a threat off of the bench as well. Excuse me. I'm just looking at the benches now. Spain probably don't have the strength in depth that they've had in the past. So key substitutes will be Nico Williams, Gavi in the middle, Ferran Torres, Jeremy Pino, who of course is now a European champion with Crystal Palace, Fabian Ruiz as well, but no, not the strength in depth that we've seen before. Ball forward looking for Ronaldo, goes through to Unai Simon there. It's a kind of ball that 3 or 4 years ago Ronaldo might have had enough pace to get on the end of. So Pedro's going to try and get it forward quickly. In terms of the benches for Portugal, if we are maybe to expect change at half-time, Gonçalo Ramos, Leao, Ruben Neves, who also plays in the Saudi League for Al Hilal, Gonçalo Guedes, another forward, Bernardo Silva, of course, now of Real Madrid. Gonçalo Ramos, by the way, is, if you've not heard, joined AC Milan from PSG for a reported 60 million. Ball into the box for Yamal. Oh, he's got it all wrong. It's another chance. He has to get on target. Lamine Yamal, he was offside anyway. Chip ball forward, I believe, from Porro, and he goes to try and hit it with the left foot. Oh, clearly offside.
Yeah, that needs to time his run better there, because sometimes you can say, the pass needs to come quicker. Podro has basically took a touch to play the pass, and Yamal needs to hold his run better there. As you say, gets it all wrong, blushes are spared by it being offside. But to say this is 0-0, what an incredible first 45 we've had, and still, of course, with the 4 minutes of stoppage time, we could easily see a goal. Yeah,
Spain are coming forward now. Almost thought he was fouled. In fact, he has been fouled, according to Anthony Taylor, the English referee. Of course, we're used to seeing him in the Premier League. Yeah, he's from behind, and I think a few players were complaining it should be a yellow card, and they're right to. But Anthony Taylor, unlike last night's referee in the England game, not getting his cards out early. As long as he keeps it consistent across the 90 minutes, I don't think anyone will particularly mind that. A few players in here that will be used to Anthony Taylor's style of refereeing. I think Rodri and Diaz of Manchester City, Cucurella formerly of Chelsea, Neto, of course, who both play for Chelsea, Porro of Spurs, and Fernandes of Manchester United. They're the 6 players, I think it is, in the starting lineups that do play their football in Premier League, or did last season, of course, in Cucurella's case. Ball towards the back post is slightly overhit. Rodri's done well to keep it in. It's taken goalwards by Laporte. Anthony Taylor's given a free kick, though. And he's telling the players to get away straight away. Foul just inside the area as the ball came in. Can't say I really saw what happened, but Anthony Taylor was quick to give it, so no doubt in his mind.
Yeah, I don't know, like I say, it's one of them, isn't it, where there's that many bodies in the box and the referee gives one, you just don't have an idea who was fouled, who committed the foul. Again, the balls he's putting in are good. I like the idea he's trying to go into the back post, at the moment, I think, as you rightfully pointed out, Spain would be the happiest. Exactly what you said. Will be happy there because they've had the better chances, they've been the better side. But exactly as you said, I think that would just frustrate them even more, because you go, we've been the better side. But Portugal, it's still 0-0. Yeah. Portugal will go, you know what, we've been second best. We could get a goal and make this interesting. Whereas Spain will still be frustrated that again, it's that Oyarzabal one, isn't it? That one should be 1-0 and not game to bed, but that should have changed the game.
He probably should have scored 2 as well.
Yes.
If you like, that chance where a brilliant ball was played across, I think, from Yamal. In fact, it was Olmo, wasn't it, making the overlapping run, I believe. It should have been on the 6-yard box to play that, to pass that ball into the back of the net even. Spain will definitely be disappointed that they've not scored. Portugal had a really good chance, but only the one. If you're going to be optimistic about the amount of goals that go in, you'd probably say a fair result right now would be 2-1 to Spain. Portugal definitely been better than they were in the opening sort of 25 minutes. Spain look like they're going to finish the half on top based on possession and momentum, if you like, in terms of the amount of runs they make forward. I believe that's what momentum is, isn't it, Lewis?
Well, that's the momentum graph, as we see all the time.
Yeah.
We always like to be shown that a couple of times through the game. I know that's what statistics like to push. We've got all the momentum in the game, but did they score a goal, though? That's the difference. Ball over the top here come Portugal. Well defended, maybe even offside.
Yeah, Pedro Porro fouled by João Felix by the look of it. Not offside. João Felix just too physical. I'm not sure he's done much wrong. Just pulling back, actually. I was just going to say, initially he didn't do much wrong, but he did put his hand on the shoulder of Porro. I don't really think it's enough in general to be a foul, but nowadays it always gets given. Unai Simon's going to try and take the free kick about 10 yards higher up than he should have done, which Ronaldo notices. So it'll be taken just inside his box. And we've only got 15 seconds left of the 6 minutes that were added. I don't think Anthony Taylor will really add any more time. There's no need to necessarily. Goal kickers, or free kickers, gone all the way down to the left hand side by Aina, now up against Ruben Diaz, trying to slot the ball into Oyarzabal. We have now played the 6 minutes of added time, and Anthony Taylor says that will be that for the opening 45. So it's 45 minutes, so both sides have chances. Spain will be disappointed that they aren't 1 goal up at least at half time. It's Portugal 0, Spain 0.
Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. Portugal had a great chance through Ronaldo. Both sides even, as I say, maybe going the way of Spain. But half-time, it is 0-0. Half-time in Dallas, and it's currently Portugal 0, Spain 0. An intense first 45 minutes. Spain with a better side and the better chances. A double save from Diogo Costa. He's been the player of the first half so far. A Yamal chance saved, and then right back up for a curling effort from Baena. Fingertip save. Oyarzabal had a one-on-one that he put wide. Should have buried that one. And it is a warm welcome back to this evening's unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary of all the action from Dallas as the round of 16 continues to go on. Here comes Spain ball into the box early on by Baena. It's dealt with at the moment. Cucurella picks it up, and now there could be a counter-attack on here for Portugal. Neto driving forward down the right-hand side. He's not got too much support as a Chelsea man. Back into a central position. Vitinha, Fernandes. Tries to dink one over the top. Oh, Cucurella, does he get a touch on that? I'm not too sure. No, he doesn't. And he just puts his hand up there, and a bit of an apology from the soon-to-be Real Madrid man there. But already a fast start to this game. It's currently goalless in Dallas. Portugal 0, Spain 0. Interesting first half. Spain definitely the side on top, you would say. The three chances that stick out for me was Oyarzabal put a one-on-one wide. As Mike Ocom's Kieran's already spoke about, he's been in fantastic form in this tournament. I expected that to be 1-0. Then a double save from Costa, the curling effort from Yamal, followed straight up by a fingertip save from another curling effort, this time from Alex Baena. But it is goalless. Diogo Costa makes some big saves. Unai Simon as well with a few as well from Cristiano Ronaldo. But you would have to say, as Kieran spoke about in the first half, yes, Spain will be happy they've been the better side, had chances, but also a bit underwhelmed and frustrated that they haven't been able to take the lead and that they're allowing Portugal to be in this game, if you will. Neto dinks it over Baena. I think that was last off of the Portuguese winger. It is. So it will be a throw-in for Spain. Quickly then the lineups. Don't believe there's been any changes between the two sides at half-time. So exactly how we started and ended the first half. Costa is in goal for Portugal. Back four of Cancelo, Diaz, Vega and Mendes. Vitinha and João Neves in the middle, with Neto, Fernandes and Felix supporting skipper Ronaldo. Spain just have the ball inside their own penalty area with Unai Simon. He's in goalie. Simon, back for Porro, Cabasi, Laporte and Cucurella, with Pedri and Rodri as skippers, the two holders, with Olmo, Yamal and Baena supporting Oyarzabal as Ronaldo's brought down there by Olmo.
He's got a career in acting when he retires from football, hasn't he, Ronaldo? I mean,
more of the
it was a foul,
ones.
but seriously, you'd think he'd been sniped.
Olmo has his arm and then Ronaldo goes down and you can see the scream of a referee, please give me a foul and an opportunity.
The scream of a man who's got nerve endings in his t-shirt.
He's wearing long sleeves as well, Kieran, so I'm sure that's something
he gets away with it.
He is Cristiano Ronaldo. Alex Baena is still going to get to another level there. 3 minutes in, it's Portugal 0, Spain 0. It's myself, Lewis Raftery, joined by Kieran Shelley, take you through all the action in the second half. And it's an early free kick here, opportunity, give or take, halfway into the Spanish half. We'll be looking at Nuno Mendes. We'll swing this one in. Bruno is there as well. Of course, as Kieran's already spoke about 21 assists in the Premier League season, of course. It will be him to swing it in. Unai Simon comes out, collects it. Really confident goalkeeping there. But it's a poor throw out, picked up by Vitinha. The attack will continue now for Portugal. João Neves goes back to Bruno Fernandes, plays it nicely into João Cancelo. We know he likes a strike at goal. He'll go for a cross comes shot. I'm not exactly sure, actually. At first, I thought he was going to unleash a strike, took an extra touch, and looking by his facial reactions, I don't think he knew what to do. Maybe caught in two minds there. Of course, he had that strike in the first half that just went over. But Spain will get the goal kick. A fast and furious start to this second half. And the longer it stays at 0-0, especially with Spain probably gaining more possession, being more in control, do you think more frustrated the Spaniards could become as the second half rolls on? Possibly at 0-0, as an nearly a mistake at the back there. Simon has to clear that away. And would you say, if you were to back someone to score, maybe Portugal have that more decisive finishes in the squad?
Yeah, I mean, based on what we've seen so far, that Spain haven't really got their shooting boots. Might see again Pedri, over to Yamal, wanting to dance past Nuno Mendes. I mean, Nuno Mendes is winning that battle all night long, or all afternoon long in Dallas. Of course, Yamal tried to beat him 2 or 3 times now, and I don't think he really has once. Nuno Mendes, I don't think there's much argument that he's the best left back in the world, to be honest, up against one of the best right wingers in the world. But Yamal needs to think of something different.
He does, and I think as usual, what we spoke about, Felix is getting back, helping Mendes out. Of course, Mendes is doing incredibly well, as Kieran says, but a lot of times you just see Yamal almost focus one-on-one with a full-back, then that winger never really helps out. As Cucurella and Neto, surprised they haven't been more involved. The two now former teammates at Stamford Bridge, but they've shared a couple of seasons together, of course. Baena, that's a poor pass picked up by Vitinha, spreads it back out to Neto, and there is a bit of space here for Portugal to drive forward. Neto, one-on-one with Laporte, puts it into the back, sticks too much on it. The right idea, just to get a ball into the box, but just too much on it. It was always stretching away from, I believe it was Felix and of course Ronaldo in there. But that was just, again, similar to in the first half where Mendes drove forward, Yamal had space. Cucurella drove forward there. That meant there was space for Neto. And with how close this game is, yes, Spain have been better and are in control and have had better chances. You feel maybe, with how good these two sides are, it could come down to a positional mistake or an individual error that changes and makes this game come to life with goals.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's making this such a good football match is that both teams are leaving a couple relative gaps in defence. Another attempted ball beyond Nuno Mendes. I mean, honestly, Spain need to get the ball to the other side of the pitch, to be honest. Nothing's getting, that ball's not gone out. I'm not sure if the line was given a throw or a free kick. Anyway, but Nuno Mendes is just quality all night long. I think it's going to have to be a substitution perhaps to then get at his relatively tired legs. He's not normally one to fatigue. Looking again at the bench, perhaps Yamal goes over to the other side and you put Ferran Torres or Yeremy Pino over there. Portugal trying to come forward quickly. Ronaldo just couldn't get to that ball ahead of Cucurella, and Spain have it back. But no, as you say, maybe just a defensive mistake or teams capitalising on gaps in defence. Yamal, has he now beaten Nuno Mendes? He has, driving into the box. There's no options in there. He tries to play it across. Nuno Mendes does brilliantly to get back and get a foot in. He's not got up yet. As the Portugal left back took a knock in that, which I think that would be a game changer. There's an argument to say he's Portugal's best player at the moment, and maybe maybe we've missed a trick, and there's a reason he's not getting forward, and Roberto Martinez told him to stay back to make sure he's marking him up.
You're saying that you're just as good going forward as you're going back, and look who you're up against. Don't be out of position. We'd rather sacrifice you going forward and supporting our attacks of sitting back. Let Cancelo do that a little bit more. I think you're probably onto something there. But that's the first time. You'd be really, really frustrated if you'd probably go, right, that's the first time I've got the better of my full back and no one's in the box, as you rightfully say. That would be frustrating as a winger. Spain do have the ball with Rodri just inside the Portugal half. Looking at the stats so far, Spain with possession about 55 to 45, give or take, to the Spaniards. 8 shots, 3 on target for Spain. That's a nice tackle by Felix. We spoke about his defensive display. Well, that was on show again. Fernandes is coming forward. He's got Felix coming forward with him. Forced to go back. Ronaldo dropped deep. He's now on the ball and getting a run. Still on the ball, still going. He's took it past a few. Porro comes across. What a tackle that is, because if he doesn't, it's a yellow card and a dangerous free kick. But that was Ronaldo rolling back the clock around 10 or 15 years right there.
Yeah, I mean, the quick feet we saw in Manchester, sort of circa 2003, to quote, this is bad news for Portugal, Nuno Mendes is down again. I was just going to quote Peter Drury when he returned the trembling touch and tease of the teenager we saw over 20 years ago, and this is awful, awful news for Portugal. If Nuno Mendes can't continue, then they are in a bit of trouble. Take a look again. It's when he makes that challenge, it's not obvious where he hurts himself there. It just looks like a pretty simple block as he slides in. I could really do with him on the pitch. He might be one of those where it's actually worth playing with 10 men for 2 minutes while he gets treated off the pitch, to be honest. I think you'd rather have him on. You look at the bench in terms of options at left back. Mateo Nunes and Diego Dallo can do that job, although neither of them are out and out left backs. They've got about 4 right backs in the squad, actually. Nelson Semedo, I don't think you'd put him left back. It'll probably be Diego Dallo, you'd think, in that role.
Could move Cancelo to the left-hand side.
Cancelo as well has got history playing there as well. Like I say, you've got 3 right backs in the squad who can play left back. Nuno Mendes is probably your 3rd choice. No sign of a limp from Mendes. It looks his right ankle, I think, that they were putting the magic spray on, some form of deep heat or deep cool. Is he going off? It looks like he's walking around the pitch. Doesn't look like he's going to come back on, if I'm honest, because he's about to walk round the back of the pitch. Yeah, he's not, and it's Nelson Semedo, which I think does confirm in our minds, without confirming officially, that Cancelo will go to left back. Nelson Semedo, of course, formerly of Wolverhampton Wanderers, does now play his club football at Fenerbahce. I think he's the only player in the squad for both sides playing in Turkey. Yeah, he is. So Nelson Semedo on for Nuno Mendes, the first change. That's a shame. I mean, João Cancelo's no mug when it comes to defending, but Nuno Mendes is simply the best in the world in his position. And Lamine Yamal now will be licking his lips. In fact, Nelson Semedo's gone left back.
No, he has. That's what I was just trying to say as he came on the field of play. And I think, of course, as you see, you've lost Nuno Mendes. It might be even bigger that now, well, rightfully so, Yamal. I'm up against a Nelson Semedo, who's, of course, played his club football for Fenerbahce, 32 years of age now. He's up when he was coming through with Benfica, Barcelona. He's spent a great time at Wolves, as Kieran said. He's a wing back. He can play a full back, isn't he? He's better as an attacking wing back. So, look, that might just open the game up a little bit. You can see as well, Yamal actually, and I can assume this is maybe tactical. He's been told probably just stay forward. They don't even come back. You stay forward. They will get someone to do the running for you in a Pedro Porro or so on and so forth. And well, as I say that, it's more how he's arbled on the right hand side and Yamal's through the middle. So that might be something to think about as well. But as Kieran said, first substitution of the game, Nuno Mendes off, Nelson Semedo onto the field of play. Well, probably as well, if you are Portugal, of course, this World Cup comes thick and fast. If they were to win this game, you also might be looking at Nelson Semedo, maybe even out of the tournament.
I think that might have been part of it, to be honest, is that they feel they can go and win this game without him playing the last 40 or maybe 70 minutes, of course, if it goes to extra time. So rest him up, get him treated for... I mean, the next game would be Friday, which seems quick. 4 days. You know, we compare that to England, who will have 5 days until their next match Saturday evening. For us, of course, in the UK. Just thinking again about the Cancelo-Semedo situation, one thing Semedo does boast that perhaps Cancelo doesn't is a bit more pace, which might be the idea. With those long balls towards Yamal, Nuno Mendes was winning the race. Ironically, the only time he didn't win the race was where he got injured and he recovered. Long ball forward for Spain, that's not going to lead to anything. And yeah, Oyarzabal, he likes to float, doesn't he? He could play as a 10, play as the 9, play on the left, play on the right. That's the beauty of it. And same with Dani Olmo, really. Those two are interchangeable. Looks like it's almost a 2 up top with those two now. Yamal's going to drift infield. I think Yamal will be better running at Semedo rather than trying to get in behind, because Semedo does have that pace.
I agree with that. Spain have the ball with Rodri, just under an hour gone. Baena on the left-hand side. Fizzes it to the edge of the area, almost lovely first touch, but no one with him, and Renato Vega's the man to come away with the ball. Felix into Fernandes, tries to knock it past Porro. Well, he's not the paciest player as Bruno Fernandes, but he's got a run on the Tottenham Hotspur full-back. He does slow it down because there's no one coming forward. Goes back to Semedo, gets his first real few touches in the game. Fernandes, Semedo, as Kieran said though, he will bring a lot of pace on that left-hand side. As well, maybe Felix can cut inside a little bit more, sit more narrow. João Neves back to Renato Vega. Maybe a bit of possession now for Portugal to have. Ruben Diaz into Vitinha. Spreads it to the left hand side into the feet of João Neves. He's the one out of the two of himself and Vitinha given the licence to come a little bit further forward. Felix on the edge of the left hand side penalty area. Cuts inside, dinks into the back post just over Ronaldo. He'll get a shot off. He was going off target and Simon picks it up there. That's just one of them, right? That's a good ball, and he just never dropped it. It was always in the air. Just felt if he could drop at the right time, Ronaldo still got a great leap on him for his age, or if he could have knocked it back as well. Just never fell for him kindly.
I think he's actually trying to knock that back. It doesn't look like he swung at it. When he swings his boot to take those volleys, I think I remember one against, was it Tottenham Hotspur when he was at Manchester United for a similar sort of angle. You can tell what he's trying to do. I think he was trying to hook that back, and it was tricky because he was reaching for it. It was going to be a tricky task. Like I said, I don't think he was trying to shoot there. Either way, he did well to just get his foot on it. It wasn't the best ball in. But more good signs for Portugal. I mean, Spain are probably going to have the majority of possession throughout this game, but Portugal, they're not far behind in terms of the team that's been the better. I think since the first hydration break, there's been not much to split the two teams.
No, there hasn't. I think as well, Spain have more of control, more possession, but whenever Portugal come forward, I think they look a lot more dangerous in attacks than Spain do, and obviously it just depends on when those attacks come, what chances they do create. Again, it could be a game that substitutes come on and make the difference in attacking areas. Yamal on the right hand side, of course, to have a run at Semedo so far. Maybe he's thinking as well, you've got the fresh legs, I'll hold off for just a moment. Kabasi now out to Yamal, might get a one-on-one against Semedo as I say that. Cuts inside, looks for a pass, it's well defended by Felix, and Yamal, does he just clip him at the heels there? Yes he does. And that's a few times now where Felix has been the one to win the ball and Yamal's been the one to clip him on the way back.
I was just about to say, now that Nuno Mendes is off the field, I think João Felix has been Portugal's best defender, to be honest. I can't actually see any contact there, to be honest. But Yamal, again, struggling to get past the two defenders that are marking him. And it's given away then by Neto. There might be space now for Olmo into the box.
Cuts it back to the edge of the area. Pedri, Manolisa, strike he does.
Dreadful.
Over the bar. Always leaning back. Unless does it take a deflection? That's the only thing to maybe save his blushes. I think Renato Vega was charging out. So it looks like it will be a corner. So a nice ball from Olmo. Just takes a touch to steady himself. And Renato Vega diving in. So it will be a Spanish corner.
Yeah, pardon me for my expletive saying that was dreadful from Pedri. It didn't look like it got a touch initially. Great defending. Ball into the box from the corner. First touch is away. Second touch is away as well for Portugal. Although a shot's going to come in from Yamal. He's won another corner.
It will be another corner. It will be from the same side as well. In this second half, Portugal going left to right in the usual red and green. Spain going from right to left in the away colours of white with a dark red. Another ball on the pitch, so just take some time. And that's probably what Portugal want. They want to play the mind game for Spain. They're a side that can get frustrated, so Portugal will look at the quote-unquote dark arcs of the game. You'd probably back Portugal to keep their heads, but it will be another corner.
Zonal marking from Portugal as well.
It is. Costa comes out. Great keeping there because he went to Laporte. Look, it's what you want from your goalkeeper to, even if he takes a bit of a shoulder bump off of an opposition player, but it comes out there. He's strong, claims the ball, and if this game ends 0-0, goes into extra time regardless, depends on who wins and a goal scorer and who's that. I think you're right when I spoke about Mendes being their best defender and now maybe João Felix. You'd have to say that maybe from those saves in the first half, Costa would maybe even the best player for Portugal right now.
Yeah, I mean, so far he's the one that's kept them in it. Him and a bit of maybe laziness or complacency from Oyarzabal are the only reason Spain aren't a goal up here.
Now here comes Cancelo into the feet of João Neves. Pedro Neto needs a bit of support, gets it from João Neves, plays it off of Bayern and asks for the handball. I think that would have been pretty harsh, almost. That's an awkward ball to control. He doesn't control it. Vitinha into Fernandes, who's under a bit of pressure but sees it coming. Portugal keep a hold of the ball. Fernandes, he's clipped there by Pedri, I think he is. I mean, that was almost. I think it was more that Fernandes actually put his leg out to play the pass, and then Pedri's almost going for it and clips him there. We'll get quickly underway with Neto on the right hand side. Looking to take his man one-on-one. Let's see more of him versus Cucurella, to be quite honest. Cancelo, that's a heavy touch. Vitinha, again, very much of. We speak about momentum, teams having the ball here and there. It is very 50-50. Neto, well, he takes it past Bayern, and now he's got a one-on-one against Cucurella. Looks for a 1-2, defended well by the Real Madrid man. Deflects off of Pedri and Olmo, so out for a throw-in. A couple of yards into the Spanish half for Portugal and Ruben Diaz. Just over an hour gone, 63.5 minutes in Dallas. It's unofficial, independent, off-tube studio commentary for the action. Portugal 0, Spain 0. Now we're heading for extra time. Of course, there was late drama in the last game for Portugal. For Spain, it's been pretty easy. I know they drew with Cape Verde, but apart from that, it's been a pretty easy World Cup for them so far. 4-0 against Saudi Arabia, 1-0 against Uruguay. That was a feisty affair, it has to be said. And that 3-0 against Austria, never really tested. Whereas Portugal, well, they've been tested in every game. You'd have to say the 5-0 thrashing of Uzbekistan, as Kieran said, that 0-0 draw against Colombia. It's kind of got the same vibe, hasn't it? Two good sides going up against each other. You feel either side could get a goal at any time, and because it now is a knockout stage, even more on the line. Yeah,
I mean, Portugal were the worst team against Colombia. I think Colombia racked up about 23 shots, which was almost double what Portugal managed. Obviously, the defence was sound enough, although maybe not, as Diego Costa had to make 6 saves. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a bit like England in their first few matches. Portugal probably better against a team that isn't just going to sit back and try and counter them, which Spain obviously aren't going to do. Now Yamal driving forward again, a little bit of space on the left-hand side.
Out to Bayern, he's got an opportunity, tries to poke it back in, maybe overdoing it there. Thought he could have gone for a strike. Portugal don't deal with it, falls for Bayern, goes for the strike at goal. Looking for the bottom corner, but it's on his weaker left peg, and he saved well by Diogo Costa in goal. Portugal just couldn't clear their lines, and Bayern just didn't really get the power behind it. I think he's probably got the execution of going into the bottom corner correct, but never gets the power. Costa will look to lump it long, looking for Ronaldo. Laporte wins that heading battle. Pedri, it's a lovely first touch, and on the first touch he passes it as well. Himself and Rodri have been, as usual, the conductors in the middle. Already spoke about benches. You'd have to say maybe that's where something could come from in terms of winner, a game winner. Out to Yamal on the right hand side. Again, been very quiet. He's got it doubled up here. Ball in behind for Porro though. Pulls it back into the penalty box. João Cancelo will just clear his lines. But once again, if anything, that was João Cancelo and Nelson Semedo going, hey, if Pedro Porro wants to make the run, fine. Play that ball into him. We're more bothered about double marking you.
Yeah, absolutely. I swear there might be a lapse in judgment when they are coming forward. And Spain proving that they're happy to have 2 or 3 wide players and risking being counter-attacked themselves. The best teams don't worry about defence when you're on the ball at all. It's all about getting the ball in the opposition's net rather than defending your own for a team like Spain. Well, Portugal have been extremely sound so far in this one. We're only a minute or so away from the second hydration break of the match, and it's still anyone's game. Spain the better team in terms of possession, but not necessarily in terms of chances. That'll be a foul on Yamal. No, the referee says no. Clearly thought Yamal was looking to buy it, which upon reflection is probably the right decision, despite the fact that Semedo didn't get the ball.
I think that's one of them where, if we're being honest, that's what we're used to seeing as a foul that we're given. And again, we've seen at this tournament a lot of yellow cards, a lot of fouls used to being seen aren't given. Back out to Yamal, and I think he will probably want to go against Semedo and win a free kick, I feel, at some point. Rodri, as ever, just sitting and dictating how the game goes. Porro. 67 minutes on the clock, as Kieran just said. We're approaching that hydration break. It was for quite a time very early on from Anthony Taylor in the first half. Of course, we've seen him given early, later, close to 27 minutes, sometimes closer to the 22.5-minute clock halfway through the first half. Kabasi looking for passing options in front. Baena finds a pocket of space, looking for Yamal. Instead will continue to drive forward. Looks to play it to the left-hand side, but too many bodies there. Pedro Neto will come away with the ball into João Felix, tries to turn away from his man. As I said about Portugal getting the momentum, it seems that Spain have just got it back once again. They want to take that throw in quickly, and by our cameras panning to a Portuguese fan as the game was looking to continue, it will be a hydration break. And as I say, we are halfway through the first half, but I'm used to seeing around the 24-25 minute mark, aren't we? And the referee letting the game breathe. And as we go into, I won't say a certain quarter, Kieran, the second half of the second half in a few moments, to me at the moment it's set up for someone to come on, either team, with the fresh legs, the substitution, come on and make an impact. We're seeing Ronaldo. It could be that he comes off, Gonçalo Ramos comes on. Maybe you put someone with him like Ramos. I'm not.
Don't be silly, Lewis.
I'm not too sure. He scored the winner against Croatia.
I don't
Who
think
knows?
he's coming off. Not a chance.
But for me, it's a game that's been so close. It kind of screams a sub could win this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of contention about whether Ronaldo should be starting matches, should he be playing 90 minutes. I don't think Portugal have an obvious better number 9. In truth, Gonçalo Ramos, again, a bit like João Felix, impressed in Portugal, never really hit the heights he should have done when he got that move to PSG. And I'm sure they've got another striker in the squad as well, somewhere on the bench. Perhaps not. Maybe Gonçalo Guedes, of course. Again, he was playing football. Can't recall. Was he also at PSG? Can't remember where he was. He was at one of the biggest clubs in Europe, I'm sure. He's now at Sociedad again. Hasn't quite hit his peak. And they're both good players in their own right. I don't think they're objectively better than Ronaldo. It's just whether Ronaldo's lack of sort of teamwork off the ball makes it worth it. He was at Wolves, of course. Yeah, he was at PSG many moons ago, though, Guedes, 17-18 season, so before the World Cup in Qatar. And Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he made his name in England, loan at Benfica, loan at Villarreal, neither of them particularly successful. 38 games, 4 goals, has averaged 1 in 4 since joining Sociedad. So again, say what you want about Ronaldo and what he does off the ball. Like I said, I don't think there's an obvious better striker, and you know what you're going to get from him. If you get the ball into the 6-yard box, the penalty spot, he'll be there, whether it's in the air or on the ground. If you play the right ball, he will be there, and he has become a fantastic penalty box striker at the age of 41. He doesn't really have the legs to be much more than that. Still fantastic in the air. I think the changes for Portugal need to come from the wide areas. I have to keep Felix on just because he's helping out with Yamal, of course. Pedro Neto I don't think has been terrific, so maybe Rafael Leao comes on. He does prefer to play on the left, though, but he could come on the right. Maybe some of the lesser known players, Bernardo Silva could do a job in field. Not that I'd suggest taking Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes or João Neves off. Of course, you've got defensive reinforcements if you want to perhaps bring another fullback on who can get forward perhaps more than Cancelo. And just as you have that, Dalot's going to come on for him.
Yeah, so it's going to be Dalot on and the out on. And I want to say it's Cancelo and Felix. I want to say I saw a number 11 going up there. Wait for full confirmation, but as you're actually, unfortunately, Felix.
It's like I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, well, it gives a lot of validity, doesn't it, to what you're saying there, Kieran? It is Cancelo and Felix off, and Dalot and Leao on. And I was speaking to one of our colleagues in the office watch game. Leao's a great player, but you know what I think he's better at? He's quite Marcus Rashford-esque. I think he's a better impact player that when legs are a bit tired and
drive at Porro.
I could imagine Porro's going, you can see a picture now in his head, I think he's going, oh, I've got to deal with him now for the last 20-30 minutes or we've got left. That's going to be a big positive for Portugal. Of course, we've already made one sub with Semedo on for Mendes. That was forced. That double change there now. So they've only got 2 left with a block to make. Spain yet to go to the bench as well. And here comes Yamal. He's tripped over there. He's by Semedo. So he does get his foul on Semedo that time. Yamal not looking for it that time, but goes past him. I think he's one of them, isn't he, Yamal? He could do anything at the drop of the hat. And this is that's a soft one.
Soft.
You're spot on, but it's a dangerous free kick.
It's a good position for the free kick. I mean, it's literally right off the corner of the box. Perfect for Yamal's left foot. It wouldn't be, I don't think it'd be outrageous to suggest he might be eyeing up the net. from here. It's just, like I say, a yard or two off the corner of the box. 3 of them are stood over it. Baena, Oyarzabal and Yamal. Oyarzabal's going to be the first to leave. In fact, they're all going to... No, Baena's going to leave as well. So no guessing from Portugal's point of view as to whether it's going to be in-swung or out-swung. It will be Yamal's left foot. Portugal holding a line just a yard behind the penalty spot. So I've got a feeling Yamal might shoot. Yamal runs up to it. He does shoot! It's on target. Has to be saved.
It's a good save as well. And, well, we spoke about it. Diogo Costa's kept them in the game, hasn't he? If we're being bluntly honest, he has. That's one again. It's curling. It's above him, but we've seen keepers make that mistake before, haven't we? So that's good from Costa. But as I say, we're just over halfway through. Goalless in Dallas, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary. Are we going to extra time or will we find late drama? But to take us for full time, pass you over to Kieran.
Corner ball comes in and Diogo Costa didn't know that there was no one at the back post. It was looping from Baena all the way to the far side of the 6-yard box. There was no one in white for Spain to get to it. Not that, Costa was to know. He has made 4 saves in this game. 2 of them have been pretty impressive. And for that one, he took his time to move, to make a decision, didn't he? Almost if he thought about catching it. It's going to be Ferran Torres, I think I mentioned in the first half, to come on for Spain. I think the other key substitutes for them could be Jeremy Pino, Pablo Gavi, Nico Williams, of course. He was fantastic in his breakthrough tournament in the Euros in 2024 on the opposite side to Yamal. Of course, for more defensive or midfield reinforcements, they've got the Arsenal duo of Zubamendi and Merino, Fabian Ruiz. I mean, they've got a midfield 3 just there that is probably as good, if not better, than the 3 they've got on the pitch now from a defensive point of view. Grimaldo could come on as a full-back option as well. I think in terms of the back 4, that would remain unchanged unless there's an injury. I think I'd quite happily keep the midfield. I don't think Pedri's been terrific in this game. In truth, that's a ball forward now. There's a bit of space for Yamal. Semedo's got back there, 1v1 with Semedo onto his left foot. Space for Baena. Oh no, it's a poor pass from Yamal. I thought for all the world that was going to roll through to Baena, but Dalot, who's just been introduced, it might even be his first touch, intercepts on quite easily actually. There was no weight on the pass at all from Yamal. It was a simple one for Dalot to get in the way of.
I think unfortunately Yamal's done really well. It's just been his final pass, hasn't it? But here come Portugal.
Here's Dalot again. Ronaldo chop, if you like, to check back, and he's not aware. Well, he is now. It's been given against him. I thought it was a little bit unnecessary from Dalot. Should have just taken a touch and driven into the box there. Plenty of celebrations in the crowd from both sets of fans who were just happy to be there. Of course, Ferran Torres on. And Alex Baena off on the left-hand side. So you'd think, you'd be very surprised if there's going to be any movement between Olmo and Yamal. Leao stepping away from Porro. Might be a foul or 2 in there from Porro. Ball forward to Ronaldo, who Spain think is offside. No sign yet. There might be a shot from range for Vitinha. They're claiming handball. Might be a chance for Bruno Fernandes into the side netting. Almost catching the goalkeeper out at the near post. Bruno Fernandes on the pivot ahead of Cucurella. And Portugal, every single attack they have almost, they look dangerous.
They do. Spain and getting more possession out there. This is what we spoke about. If you're saying that when they come forward, who do you think is going to score every time, as you're right, for Portugal? They're just Ronaldo, Fernandes, Leao. He was brilliant. Now they brought fresh legs on. They just look more dangerous. And when it's 0-0 and you're thinking, right, it's just maybe one chance is going to fall, maybe for either side, you'd back a Ronaldo or a Fernandes over an Oyarzabal or a Torres, wouldn't you, at the end of the day? But Spain have won it high. Here they come down the right.
Olmo, he's trying to play a cute ball in behind for Oyarzabal. Portuguese defence too smart for that. You can see Rafael Leao now almost playing as a left back. Just giggling to myself as he slots into that position to watch Yamal. And Pedro Porro, of course. Porro back to Kabasi. Inside the centre circle, all of Spain's players now ahead of the centre circle. Rodri. Portugal look comfortable though in this position. Spain have found it very difficult to get through Portugal's defence, or even the midfielders. Pedri's finding it difficult now. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a change in midfield for Spain. It probably would be Olmo or Pedri. Chip ball over the top now for Ferran Torres for his first introduction. Can he keep it in? He did, but only into the side netting. He couldn't quite get it across the box. Well watched by Ruben Diaz. First, like I say, first touch, I believe, for Ferran Torres, who will be down as a left winger, but just drifted in field. Again, all of those four attacking players for Spain could play anywhere across the front four. Probably wouldn't expect Yamal to play as the number 9, but he can certainly drift into midfield or over to the left-hand side. And as we know, Cucurella, the left-back, will happily play as a left winger or even a number 10, which we've seen many a time under 2 or 3 different managers at Chelsea. Rodri. Spain have got the ball back after it was cleared upfield by Diogo Costa. And Cucurella's gone down. Doesn't necessarily mean he was hurt though. Ball forward to Oyarzabal, to Rodri. Cucurella's finally back to his feet. Not sure if his hair was pulled or if someone breathed on him. Rodri forward now. Once more to Oyarzabal, who's created a bit of space. There might be space for Olmo now. Turns away from one. Can he get a shot off? He does. Brilliant block from Ruben Dias. That is fantastic for the Manchester City defender. It looked like Olmo was going to get a shot on target as he skipped away from Semedo. It's going into that bottom right-hand corner. I think the keeper would have been comfortable saving it, but nonetheless, wonderful stuff from Ruben Dias.
Brilliant block, as you rightfully say. Semedo's stretching, isn't he? Can't get there. Lovely touches from Olmo to get it away from Semedo, had him checking and stopping. And I think you're right, I think Costa would have had it saved, but a brilliant block. Here comes a corner.
Yeah, Yamal with the ball towards the far post. Costa can only get a hand at it again. He's going to have to get up quickly. Rodri interested in getting this ball back into the box, which he does. Chip towards the far post. Costa's there to punch away. Pickford-esque, if you like, after last night's match in Mexico. Now Yamal looking to get the ball back into the box. Of all people, it's Ronaldo. He's got to get past. Ball into the box towards Ferran Torres, who tries to take it back across, and Semedo can only kick it out for a corner ball. They want a handball, or Ferran Torres does at least. I'm not sure it's going to be a class action claim, if you like. Let's have a look. I mean, it does catch the arm of Renato Vega, but I'm not sure what he's supposed to do to get his arm out of the way. That doesn't involve amputation, to be honest. It doesn't touch his arm anyway.
It probably touches his shirt.
Yeah, maybe it just catches his armpit. It's definitely not a handball. Anthony Taylor, all eyes on Anthony Taylor at the moment. He's had a lot to do from these corners. Zonal marking again from Portugal, which I think they've adopted since the dawn of time, that I can remember, to be honest. Or at least a hybrid model. Yamal ball in. This one not as deep, but it's going to find its way to Rodri. Now Portugal want a handball, which they are going to get against the El Capitan of La Roja. So it'll be a free kick for Portugal inside their own box with just over 10 minutes of regular time left to go. And in truth, either team could go on and win it. I wouldn't be surprised if we could easily see 2 goals before full time is up. It might go to extra time as well. Still plenty of options. Bernardo Silva and Francisco Conceição, if I've said that correctly, I doubt I have, are going to come on. Number 26 and 10 for Portugal. Bernardo Silva, of course, now of Real Madrid. And Conceição of Juventus. Interesting to see who they come on for. You think Bernardo Silva will certainly be for probably Vitinha or Neves, and maybe Bruno Fernandes. Ball over once more to Yamal on that right hand side. 1v1 with Semedo inside to Ferran Torres. Yamal wants it back. Semedo's too smart for that though. And now there might be a break for Portugal. Ronaldo heads it down to Pedro Neto. Ronaldo once more. It's actually Fernandes, I think, who headed it down to Neto. Nice turn from Dalot. Infield to Vitinha. Portugal are just going to ease up now before these substitutions come on. It will be their final substitutions actually. They'll have to wait to come on. Leao wanting to run at Porro. He's got past the Spurs man as well into the box. That's a sliding challenge in from Porro. Does really well to block the cross.
If he doesn't block it, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it, right there? But that's what we just spoke about when Leao came on. I know he hasn't had a chance, but that's a tired leg, isn't it, of Porro, and Leao just driving at him. We just haven't seen it enough, unfortunately. But what I'm intriguing, you spoke about the zonal marking from the corners. It's almost just man-to-man all over the pitch. You've seen Renato Vega follow his man into midfield and like a João Neves dropping in. So that's how Spain have got in a few times, because no one's on the same wavelength. Spain are the side coming forward more with Yamal now.
Yeah, coming in field into the box. Oyarzabal, who another poor touch. He's not had his best game at all. Barring the Spain game, this might go down. The Cape Verde game, this might go down as one of his worst in the tournament. Bruno Fernandes trying to fire a ball over to Cristiano Ronaldo. Can only win a throw-in. And now the substitutes you'd think will come on for Portugal. They will just confirm the other change for you. Conceição apparently is the correct pronunciation of Portugal's number 26. He's going to come on the right side of midfield. Conceição plays his football at Juventus, has done for a year and a half, and it is Vitinha who's going to come off for Bernardo Silva, as we'd expect. Bruno Fernandes will stay in the number 10 position. Neves and Bernardo Silva, will be the midfielders. And you know you're going to get from Bernardo Silva. He's still one of the smartest midfielders in world football for me. He's so good on the ball. He'll do his defensive work as well, which Pep Guardiola has instilled into him over the last 8 years, I think it is, that he's been at Manchester City. So it's all the changes for Portugal. Semedo at left back has come on, Dalot at right back, Leao on the left side of midfield, and now Conceição on the right, and Bernardo Silva at the base of midfield.
Yeah, it's I think it's more of a free, isn't it, than a 2, and Fernandes is a 10. I think it is more out and out free, which I think when you're trying to defend is a little bit easier, a little bit better. It just adds an extra body, isn't it? So you're more like, right, I'll defend this side, you're in the middle, you defend that side, we'll crunch in a little bit. When we're down the left-hand side, you'll be the attacking outlet, for example. Neves will go the left, and Fernandes off the right. I think it works better. I mean, I spoke about earlier going 4-4-2 Diamond-esque, but I think just a midfield 3 suits it a little bit better than that 4-2-3-1. Again, Conceição coming on the right-hand side. He adds fresh legs, and it's, as you said, Neto hasn't had his best game. I think the one thing Portugal are lacking, if you look at this team, is that out-and-out winger. I know there's a couple, but the rest of the squad, you'd say, world-class in areas, maybe lacking in the wingers, though.
Leao's driven at Pedro Porro once or twice to be that typical winger. Had little success, though, so far. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, say it's a 3 midfield, he'll play anyway. He'll move over to the right, the left. Probably drop between the 2 centre-halves at some point as well. There's going to be 2 more changes for Spain at some point. Might be now, actually, with the ball out of play once again. Conceição feels like he was fouled. Mikel Merino and Fabian Ruiz are going to come on, so it looks like it's going to be double change in midfield. Pedri's going to come off, which did suggest it's certainly not been his best game for La Roja. And then Dani Olmo as well for Fabian Ruiz. So I think Ruiz will play as almost a 10 then, but he's a bit more of an 8. I mean, he wears the number 8, so it's probably self-explanatory. Dani Olmo, I don't think he's been poor, but he's just not really had the freedom to take as many touches as perhaps he wanted to, be the playmaker that he can be, which is a compliment to Portugal, of course. So I think that's 3 changes now made by Spain. Dalot gets the ball back from Bruno Fernandes, but Spain take it off of the Manchester United fullback. Yamal trying to sprint forward. He's done well. He's gotten away from João Neves. Maybe space on the right now for Oyarzabal. He tries to check it back in field to Rodri. And a nice ball over from Yamal to Fabian Ruiz for his first touch of the game. He's going to try and play across towards the far post. It's a difficult one for Costa, with Mikel Moreno interested, but he claims the ball once more, the Portuguese number 1.
I think Ruiz coming on, I mean, there's no offence to Dani Olmo, I think Fabian Ruiz should be starting. He was a player of the tournament for me in Euro 2024. I know he's up against his 2 PSG teammates in the middle of Vitinha and João Neves, but I think he's that more attacking one of the 3. He's that goal scorer. He's a link between midfield and attack, and I think Rodri's now going to sit, isn't he? Marino and Ruiz will be given more. You've got to get back, yes, but again, it's come from 2-4-2-3-1s to 4-2-4-3-3s, isn't it now, with a more settled midfield? And I think that'll help both teams to balance this game out, and let's be quite fair, with an eye on extra time, probably benefit them in that as well.
4 minutes left of the 90. We'll certainly have at least 5 or 6 minutes added on in this second half, so I think it's fair to assume we've got 10 minutes of football left to play before extra time becomes an option. Porro inside his own half plays it across to Kabasi, and then to Laporte. Spain patient as ever. They're not quite a team to lump the ball into the box. They're not really, apart from Rodri, got anyone to lump the ball into the box too, unless one of the 2 centre-halves gets forward. But like I say, that's not the Spanish way. Portugal trying to engage Spain a little bit in the attacking third. does come with its risks, of course, as we see now with the space in midfield for Ruiz. Cucurella's getting forward as the left winger. Ferran Torres has moved to a central position with Oyarzabal joining from deep. It's Moreno on the ball, in fact. He plays it to Ruiz. Rodri. Just looking at the Spain team, so many trophy winners in the squad. Yamal. One-on-one with Semedo once more, plays an underlapping ball to Ferran Torres into the box. What can he do? He skipped away from one, wants to play the ball to someone, tries a clever ball, too clever. Really, it was never going to come off from Ferran Torres. He's better off laying that off to the edge of the box.
Yeah, and once again, I think it's just Spain trying to force it a little bit. There's no wrong with going for that shot, and if it deflects away, it deflects away. I think go for the shot. Trying to test the goalkeeper. I mean, maybe you do think, no, right, he saved everything we've got. That's why we have to really open them up. But now, this is where I understand. Like, let's just not make any mistakes. Let's be defensively solid. If it means an extra 30 minutes of football, as we said, the winner of this will play the winner of the USA-Belgium game. You don't want an extra 30 minutes in the legs, but you'd rather have an extra 30 minutes in the legs than be knocked out completely. So it'll be interesting. But here comes Delo.
Yeah, looking to beat Cucurella, plays a ball into field, which didn't look dreadful, but Conche Shaw couldn't get on the end of it. That's too physical from Bernardo Silva, and it'll be the first yellow card of the game, actually, for the Real Madrid midfielder. Bernardo Silva just late on Mikel Moreno. Not the first time those two have faced each other, of course. Mikel Moreno feeling that one, despite having a physical benefit over Bernardo Silva in terms of stature. But interesting that's the first yellow card of the match, we've seen.
Yes, the one, was it Porto in the first half?
Yeah.
When it made two back-to-back that I thought, well, we both thought could have been yellow cards. And if I'm honest, I thought on paper of this game, the players you've got, there's a lot of yellow cards out there. I think Cucurella's not even giving away a foul. He's been brilliant. Look, him against Pedro Neto, you look at that one. That's always an opportunity to become something more than it is. So it's interesting, as you say, that's the first one. Pedro Porro's obviously one maybe for a yellow card as well. Opportunity for Ronaldo. Simeone comes out there. But again, as we spoke about, that Laporte header, we spoke about mistakes. That was only a mistake that set up Ronaldo for a goal. I think that's what we're down to, is the individual brilliance and a mistake maybe from someone.
Indeed. Spain trying to come forward again. Ball over on the right hand side with Porro. What can he do from this right hand side? Yamal, 1v1 with Semedo. Leao again helping him out. Yamal waiting for Semedo to commit himself, but to be honest, Semedo's been fantastic at left back. Yamal's had a tough time against two quality left backs for Portugal. I don't think Yamal's been ridiculously impressive this tournament. He's not been at his best. That's another foul from Bernardo Silva. 6 minutes of added time. 6 minutes left for either Spain or Portugal to find a winner. There's ball through now. Might be a chance. Oh, and it's in the back of the net for Spain. Can you believe it? Mikel Moreno, the substitute, played through by Ferran Torres. All of that hard work from Portugal. Such good defending, and it comes from a quick free kick. They weren't alert. They weren't switched on, and Spain have taken a stoppage time lead. Well, you see, Bernardo Silva's come on, give away those 2 free kicks. He's been too keen, hasn't he, the Real Madrid man, if we're being bluntly honest. Great finish from Moreno, and, well, we've seen that for Arsenal, haven't we? That, yes, he's in midfield. He's played as a number 9 for the Gunners as well, hasn't he? As the man who wears 6 on his back. But that's a great finish from Moreno, and credit to both managers for what they've made the changes. We spoke about, could a change be the difference? And he fouls. Is it Moreno that he fouls? I'm just watching it back. It is, and then he just wanders off. It's a beautiful pass, as you say, from Ferran Torres. Poor from Ruben Diaz.
He steps out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And you know, if you step out, you're going to get the ball, look at your man, one or the other. He doesn't do that. Lovely ball from Torres, lovely finish. But again, it's almost Bernardo Silva. He's a great player, we know that. But I just think he's come on. That foul against Moreno, he's fouled him again, and he hasn't followed his man. De La Fuente, he brought him on. He went, we're going to go instead of 2 holders on a 10. We're going to go with 1 holder and 2 8s. Well, one of them scored, and it's a substitute to a substitute. So that's exactly what we spoke about. They've changed the game. You said, look, there could be more than 1 goal left in this game later on. I wouldn't doubt Portugal coming forward, but now Spain have something to hold on for. You just feel if Portugal have they got it in them to go forward? I mean, what a game we've had, what a great goal that was. I thought we were bound for extra time. Was someone going to make a mistake? Again, rightfully so, Ruben Diaz makes that mistake and they pounce upon it, don't they? Have we got more late drama? But at the moment, it'll be Spain versus either the USA or Belgium.
Well, indeed. Portugal got 4 minutes. Anthony Taylor might be generous and give them another one for the goal celebration. You think that would be the fair thing to do. So Portugal got 5 minutes now to turn this game around. And in terms of the quality of chances and probably the number of chances, you probably say it's a fair result. But Portugal have looked good every time they come forward. But Spain have had more of the ball, have had more chances. And when you are the team that sits back and is happy to absorb that possession and absorb that pressure, you always run a risk that you're not going to score yourself. Bruno Fernandes spreads the ball over to Rafael Leao. This game isn't done yet. Physical challenge from Pedro Porro, who seems happy with himself in winning that header up against the AC Milan winger. Now Renato Vega over to Semedo. Leao's dropped deep, so it's Vitinha, I think it is. João Neves even on that left hand side. It is Semedo. Spain making it hard for them to get out of this corner. Plays it infield to Leao. That's a poor pass though. Spain have it back. Yamal's going to take on Renato Vega, and that'll be a yellow card for the ex-Chelsea man, the simplest one of the night for Anthony Taylor, the second of the game, second for Portugal. In fact, it's Semedo. No, it is Renato Vega. Sorry, our camera's focused on Semedo. For some reason, Renato Vega yellow carded up until that point. I think he'd had a pretty good game. You wouldn't have expected Ruben Diaz to charge out at Ferran Torres like that for the goal. Just leaves that space in behind for Mikel Moreno. It's poor from the Manchester City defender. He's better than that. It will be a big shame for Portugal if that's the reason they are knocked out of this World Cup in the round of 16, which they'll consider an underperformance, despite the fact they are up against arguably the second favourites for the competition. Leao wanting to burst down that line again and beat Pedro Porro 1v1 with the Spurs right back. What can he do? Trying to get away from him. Bit of space now for Nelson Semedo. Can he get a ball into the box? He can. It's poor. It's too low. Portugal still have it just about though. Bernardo Silva. The space now with Conceição on the ball on the right hand side up against Cucurella. Back to Bruno Fernandes. He's got space to cross, which he does. It's to the far post. Porro tries to flick it away. Now to the feet of Rafael Leao. It's back to the wall for Spain. Leao trying to beat him. He won't do so. Ball back to Semedo, who's under pressure from Yamal, but skips away from him nicely. And another. Could do with getting the ball into the box. Ruben Diaz, who should probably get into the box, plays the ball over to Leao. Leao does get the ball into the box again. Not a good ball, but it's not been dealt with by Kabasi. Fabian Ruiz even is going to have to clear up field. 90 seconds left of the 6 that were added. Like I say, we can probably assume that another minute will be added due to the goal and the celebrations. So probably just over 2 minutes left, but only one guaranteed. Conceição on the right hand side. What can he do? Wants to get the ball back to Bruno Fernandes. He's got space once more. Leao's asking for it on the right hand side. Into Semedo. Now Vega. Space for Ruben Diaz, who I'm baffled isn't just stood in the box, to be honest, at this stage in the game. Perhaps wanting to redeem himself. It's a poor ball over. I think it was Renato Vega, wasn't it? To Bruno Fernandes. Leao maybe should have dropped back to get on it. Pedro Porro's got no interest in taking this throw in quickly, but now he's got the ball in hand. He's only got 5 seconds. They're going to make a change though, are Spain. Borja Iglesias, he's going to come on at some point, not before this throw-in is taken though. Down the line, brilliant tackle from João Neves, who's been busy as ever in the midfield for Portugal. Bruno Fernandes now. Ball forward to Neves, and Leao on the left hand side just chips the ball over the oncoming Yamal. Bruno Fernandes plays the ball towards the far post to Conceição. Not a bad ball at all. Beats Cucurella, chips it into the box, and the header comes on. Oh, it's just gone over the bar. Bernardo Silva it was who picked up that yellow card. It just goes over the top. Bit of a kerfuffle between a few of the players now. Rodri and Bernardo Silva having a few words. Nothing more than a little bit of handbags. Bruno Fernandes trying to tell Bernardo Silva to get away. Not sure what Rodri's problem is. Not sure what his problem is at all. It's not a bad header from Bernardo Silva. The fact that he's risen above the likes of Laporte and Rodri is a testament to himself. 96.5 minutes played. Will that be the last chance for Portugal?
You think so, wouldn't you? Like you said, maybe a minute added on, maybe another 30 seconds here for the sub for Borja Iglesias coming on. I mean, unfortunately, a great positioning by Bernardo Silva, as you rightfully say. You just think, is that Cristiano Ronaldo? Is that someone else? Is that in the back? It's a great ball from Conceição on the right-hand side, but that might be at least the last. I think we've got maybe 30 seconds, maybe of a kick here and a chance, but that's maybe the last big chance they've got, and maybe that's Spain into the next round.
They'll have to get it forward quickly, Portugal, from this goal kick. 97 minutes played. We're already in borrowed time. Only Anthony Taylor knows how much football is left to play. It's gone out for a Portugal throw. They need to get it forward quickly. Dalot, he's going to throw it backwards, can you believe? João Neves to Ruben Dias. Needs to get it forward quickly, Portugal. Still the ball in their own half. Bernardo Silva trying to drive into the Spanish half. Iglesias, who's got fresh legs, is on him. Now, Bernardo Silva once more, again being hunted by Iglesias. He needs to get the ball forward, Bernardo Silva. Leao is intercepted by Yamal. Anthony Taylor, no sign of blowing up. Spanish players are asking for it. Renato Vega, Bruno Fernandes from his own half plays it over to Conceição, who goes infield. That's a flying challenge from Ferran Torres even. And Conceição. It's going to be a yellow card for Ferran Torres. And Portugal at least have the chance to lump this ball into the box.
Yeah, this will be last chance, Lou. You were saying they'll get one more chance. This is it, isn't it?
This will be it.
It's very silly from Torres as well as he goes in, because even he doesn't have to go in like that to win the ball. He could just probably keep stand tackle and win the ball. I mean, this is a big moment. Costa's going to come up. I mean, he's been the saviour in goal. Could he score? Who knows? Bruno Fernandes, 21 assists, as you said, in the league. Yeah. This will be the biggest assist of the season for him if he gets it.
World Cup as well, hasn't he?
Yes.
So, it's a relatively high line from Spain, right on the edge of the box. Bruno Fernandes with the ball in. It's not a bad one. Header comes in! And it's gone wide from João Neves. And you'd think that will be that. Spanish players celebrate. The whistle has gone. Spain will progress through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup. It will be their most impressive World Cup run since winning the competition in 2010. They've overcome arch rivals Portugal, who bow out in the round of 16. Mikel Merino with the stoppage time goal to see Roja through. USA or Belgium away. It's finished. Portugal 0, Spain 1.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap